Hiya AJ, how are you doing, mate?
Frank, I'm a bit woozy. That late day sun splurge has just kind of hit me right when I didn't need it.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a funny day weather-wise, hasn't it?
3/4 grey, and then sun, like the great burning ball of inconvenient gas that it always has been, just suddenly swoops out of the clouds.
And as you can probably see there to the side there, I had a big, huge jumper on earlier. I've been blowing hot and cold.
Yeah,
all day.
Exactly. Is it your time of the month?
Well, it obviously was my time of the month, wasn't it? Because, as you well know, I had a crash.
You did?
Yesterday. So the show should have been recorded on Wednesday. We recorded on Thursday. We should have had David Platt, who's the manager of AFC Knowsley, on. But they're playing tonight at Prescott.
Yeah.
So I hope to have him on. We've got him booked in for next week's show.
Okay.
You can hear the printer going off there because that's all the production notes.
Yeah, which we scrambled together at the very last minute. Such is our professionalism and preparedness.
Yeah. So to give you greater context, so I'm driving. Listen, I'm going to, because Jay will just love this. Jayhawks. So Jayhawks, he texted me yesterday afternoon, 4 o'clock-ish, whatever it was, and he said, "Have you got the keys to Richmond?" And I said, "Yeah, I've got 2 sets of keys." And he says, "You bastard." He said, "I've been searching high and low in the house to see." He said, "I've literally ripped everything out to find the keys." So anyway, he was a little bit. He wasn't annoyed, like, you know what I mean. He can't fall out with Jay. He's just lovely. So anyway, I sent him so I'd gone down there to meet this bloke to give the keys around about 5:15, and then because there's loads of roadworks going on around Burscough at the moment, Rowena said to me, "Whatever you do, don't go the normal way." So I didn't. I went down back lane in Newbury, and I came out down past the cricket club in Burscough and turned left in the village.
Yeah. And
then went left again over the Humpty Back Bridge.
Yeah.
And down to Richmond Park. Met the bloke, Nabby, give him the keys, and then I decided, right, I'm going to go left, and I'm going to go left again. So Stanley Institute lights, I'm going to go left. I'm going to go onto the A59, and I'm going to go the back route from Ormskirk, Dark Lane, back to mine.
Yep.
So in that split second, I made the decision to not go the way that I came.
Yep.
Which is really, really weird. And then I'm thinking, I've got to get back for AJ. I've told him I'm going to be slightly late, and I'm getting towards the bend, and I'm thinking, in my mind, I'm thinking, have I got enough time to just go and see the grandkids and say hello? Just a quick hello, say hello, give them a kiss and a hug, and then bomb it off. And then literally as I'm thinking that, next minute, the car on the bend of the A59 where the old speed camera used to be, where Square Lane merges onto it, some woman just she just ran out right into the road. Says she's not seeing me. And
in a car, that is not.
But you've seen the coverage.
I have.
Listen, absolute total shock to the system. But what's more shocking about it is, listen, I just finished the story off first anyway. So I sent a photograph to Jay, showing him the damage to my car, and he said, "Oh my God, you're okay?" I said, "Yeah, I'm fine." I said, "I've got a few palpitations and all that." And he turned around and he said, "You're trying to make me feel guilty. We'd already spoken by this stage because," and I said, "I've already said to AJ, I'm going to make you feel really guilty." Because I was on a mission of mercy for you. And he said words like, the bastard and things like that. You know what I mean?
Of course he did.
But listen, I spoke to him. He tried to ring me while I was ringing the insurance, so I rang him later. Lovely bloke, and he's there to always to help. So that was great.
A massive inconvenience and a total shock to the system, but you are okay.
Yeah, well, I think I am, but the difficulty is now, because of the damage I've already got to me back, is whether it's done any more damage to it. I was due to see my surgeon in August. That's been called off
because of this.
No, it was called off a couple of months ago,
right,
and I was waiting for a new appointment. I haven't had one, so they were going to review and see whether if there was more damage to me limbs and feeling and what have you, and me walking. So they were going to do that. So I'm caught between a rock and a hard place, really, because everybody's saying to me, "Oh, you should have gone to the doctors. You should have gone and got a check over." But I'm always in pain, so I know I'm in extra pain now. I know that for certain. I know there's damage there. I just think that I'm probably lucky that they've hit me from side on, because if it had been up the backside, I think there'd have been more damage to my spine.
Yes, yeah, you'd have been at risk of whiplash at the very least. Yeah,
I feel whiplashy. In fact, what I feel like is my left hand side of my face has been smacked, and I've not hit anything.
You were hit on the passenger side, weren't you?
Yeah. So my knee hit the console.
Yeah.
So that's sort of keeps collapsing on me. When you feel like something's clicking out of place. And then I've got a bruise on this arm. I've not hit anything. I can't even see it. I don't even know whether you can see a bruise there.
Nope.
No
bruise.
But it's sore to touch.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't for the life of me think whether I've hit the side of my window or been pushed over there. Mm-hmm. The other thing, of course, is that I could have hit the oncoming traffic as well, which I was fortunate because I slightly moved out. I had that feel, but when you have that feeling that, she's going to come out, I didn't even know it was a she, to be fair. I didn't know whether she was coming out or not, and I'm thinking, that'll never happen. And I can't actually say I actually seen the impact, even though it's hit me near side, gone down me alloy and me two doors.
Yeah, but if you look at the footage, she's actually not coming out into the road. She's almost turning and aiming down the wrong side of the road, as in headlong towards you.
Well, if you look at it before that as well, there's a car approaching and turns left before I carry on.
Yeah.
And I think she's probably looked at it.
And thought that was clear.
That was clear, and then there was cars parked on the other side that were trying to turn.
Yeah.
But either way...
that's really poor judgment from her.
Yeah, I mean, listen, she's admitted liability.
Yeah.
Even before she knew that there was...
Come on.
Yeah, listen, nobody goes set out to deliberately crash into someone, but I think during these sunny nights, you've got the music on maybe, you're a little bit louder than normal, you've got your sunglasses on, which can impair your judgment as well. The sun's lower at 5:20 of the night, it starts to dip a bit.
Yeah.
All of those things to take into consideration, and know what, in a world where everything is 100 miles an hour, sometimes you just got to slow down, because the option is somebody ends up suffering.
Yeah.
I like I say, I'm in pain now, but I'm just thankful that it's just a piece of metal. So sorted out, sent all the dash cam coverage off to the insurance company, and
are you claiming personal injury?
I doubt I will. It depends how it manifests itself. Whether I have to go and see what it is now. I have to be very careful where I turn my neck now, because it's making a lot of noise. But listen, I'm not into the compensation culture. But if I do find that I've got more injury than I should have, then it would be something that I would have to pursue anyway, because it's having an impact on me already. The worst part of it is the confidence.
Really?
Really struggling, and
so you've got a replacement or a hire car sitting on the driveway.
Collected it just about an hour ago from Enterprise.
It is a Mercedes. Everybody big ooh.
It's a Mercedes. It's a Mercedes, and I'm just looking at the model for anybody.
It looks like a GL 350.
It's a 200, I think. But,
all right, GL 200 maybe.
What is it called? Recently saved. Oh, it's not on there. Let's have a look at my photographs. Bear with me, guys, while I look at this. Yes, it's a GLB 200.
GLB.
Yeah, it looks a little bit boxy, Hearse-esque like. The dashboard consoles are a little bit sort of...
Well, this is going to be a different electronic setup, isn't it? The Japanese and the Germans, they don't do mechanics quite the same, do they?
Well, what I've noticed is that if you turn the steering wheel, you can't see the speedometer.
Oh.
You know what I mean? And I've not worked out whether there's any miles in the tank yet, you know what I mean? And I don't know whether I've got to immediately go to the petrol. I don't even know whether it's petrol. I'm assuming it is, but I'll know once I open, because it'll probably tell me E5, E10 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But yes, so confidence more than anything. So Rowena drove me down to... Well, Elliott drove me back from Knowsley Knowsley Industrial Estate. Well, it's Alchemy Park, is it?
It's where you drop the car off for your repairs.
Yeah, dropped it off for the repairs. So they're not even going to look at it till Monday.
Today is Thursday. That's not helpful, but at least you have a car.
Yeah. So it's probably going to have it for weeks rather than days, I would imagine. But he took me back, and I said to him, "Can you slow down a little bit? You're scaring me now."
Oh.
And then the same with Rowena before when she took me. And I'm saying, listen, you do realise there's 30 mile an hour limit here, and she goes so close to the edge. You know,
she
in the
drives
trees.
Yeah.
I always say that I hug to the middle line.
Yeah.
I always hug more to the middle line because I don't want to get my car scraped.
See, I do the opposite. I'm totally fine and aware with going right to the edge of the road, regardless of what's there.
And the other thing that I don't do, compared to what she does, and she'll kill me for saying this, is I don't decide I'm going to speed up round a roundabout.
Okay.
You know, go round on two wheels.
Oh, yeah.
I tend to go down on the customary 4, go round on the customary 4 and slow down. She seems to think it's what's we call it, a Formula 1 racetrack. She will kill me. She definitely kill me. And of course, the footage. I sent the footage off and I forgot you could mute it.
Yeah.
So you heard some choice language
the
there.
effing and blinding. Yes.
Do you think it was justified though?
Yeah, you're in shock.
Crikey, I was in shock. Like.
I remember, I had a crash.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
April this year.
We're all really unlucky, aren't we?
We are really unfortunate. In both cases, somebody pulled out and smacked into our passenger side.
Because you showed me the pictures, didn't
I did, yeah.
Similar to mine, really,
yeah.
but on a sort of more country road, yours, wasn't it?
Slightly more, yeah. Mine was a B road, obviously yours was an A. But yeah, when it banged into me, see, I wasn't moving at the time because I'd slowed right to a halt because of his erratic driving. And even when he smashed into me, I let go a few choice languages myself. Yeah. It's just part and parcel of how you react to this thing. I don't think anybody gets smashed into on a road traffic collision and goes, "Oh dear."
I know, yeah. Well, I didn't realise it sent it off to all people, and then Rowena sent it off to her daughter. And I realised later that I'd been swearing on it, and I said, "Listen, you need to apologise." I sent it to my mum and said, "Listen, you need to apologise in advance."
My God,
the language is disgusting. But
only if she's a practising Roman Catholic. Otherwise, I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, well, she's done all of that before.
There it is. There it is.
So yeah.
Look at that.
Other than that, what have you been up? Listen, we'll talk about the game that we played on Tuesday night, wasn't it? Yeah, Tuesday night.
Tuesday night.
Yeah, listen, we're having an extended, really summary... Summer, yeah. The best words said there from AJ. Yeah, it's lovely, and we're really, really, really fortunate. We're spending a lot of time watching football in glorious weather, and it's been really nice to do that. It's been sort of swings and roundabouts, which we will come to. But
it's always swings and roundabouts with
Scam.
God, not a heck of a lot. I've been at work this week. I came back after I had a week off. Yeah, both my manager and my senior are on holiday, so that's quite nice.
They might listen to this show, so be very careful what you say.
I don't think they listen to this show.
Don't turn around and say that because they're off, you're going to be scarred a little bit.
No, I wouldn't dream of it. No, absolutely
You're going to wait 10 times harder on your AJ.
Yeah.
I know what you're like.
Yeah, exactly. But no, just been routine.
Is it hard to get back into the routine again?
A little bit, yeah. I had a very busy Monday and Tuesday, and then a slightly less intense Wednesday and Thursday. So got one more day tomorrow. Don't anticipate a whole heap of a lot being happening, but it's social services, so anything can happen really. In the meantime, just been watching a lot of episodes of Ambulance really, and just getting all the paramedic learnings in.
So I think we've mentioned it very briefly, or we might have done that. You've got now aspirations to become a paramedic.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how far down the line are we on that, other than watching the ambulance?
I emailed NWAS and asked when the next employment intake...
NWAS?
Yes, Northwest Ambulance Service.
Sounds like something that you do on the side of a road when you're...
Desperate and caught short. I emailed them to ask when the next intake was, and they emailed back saying, check this link, because we don't know. Right. Got it. So
further forward?
Well, maybe half a step forward if you like.
Yeah.
I emailed. That's it. But if anyone's got books, by all means, I'm sorted for a car. I'm sorted for a car. Oh, we haven't mentioned this. I've got a car now.
Well, I was going to come to the car. You got the car and then you've cycled down today. So the last time you didn't have a car, you cycled down. So I was expecting you to drive today, but you didn't.
No, I did not.
So you're on a fitness campaign.
Well, yeah, I just really enjoyed cycling. I mean, I know.
And it's not too warm. It was really, really warm last time, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. Whereas
it's not warm now.
No, it's still warm now, but it's a little bit cooler than what it was. So I just really enjoyed cycling. So I cycled to the football match in Appley Bridge on. No, I didn't. I drove.
No, you didn't, you lie.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, that was correct. But I actually cycled through Appley Bridge and Skem and up Holland on the weekend, actually. So I had a really nice, pleasant sort of 2-hour cycle ride on the weekend. Yeah. And so with that in mind, I just kind of thought, the weather's really nice, why not cycle it again? So yeah. I cycled here again just purely for the premise of, just having a bit more of a nicer atmosphere and slightly less comfortable, obviously. Yeah. But
so should we hit the dark subject of the clothing that you're wearing?
You're pointing out that I'm wearing Lycra.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, come on, explain yourself, because you're very, very critical of people, and particularly men on bicycles
of a certain age. Wearing
no, you. To be fair, it covered all ages. You said it doesn't matter who's wearing.
Oh, I hate cyclists.
They're all bike wankers.
Yes,
that's what you call them.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So okay, what's the excuse for wearing bike wanker shorts?
The saddle's really painful on my arse.
Can't you just stick a sponge down your knickers like I used to do back in the day?
What you mean before the age of technological advancement?
Before the age of bloody Lycra. Oh, I mean, Lycra came out, and then all of a sudden Lycra decided to put. It's just birthday, so sorry. We're on the gassy stuff as well here. It's not non-alcoholic, by the way. I don't know why I'm looking at the screen here, like everybody can see.
Sorry, is there a teleprompter on there?
There's a teleprompter there. So what we're talking about then? So the Lycra, it's changed over the years, hasn't it? Now, so it's got padded malarkey in between the crotch and arms of the seat of the pants.
Yeah.
So now it looks like when somebody gets off a bike, it doesn't just look like ridiculous Lycra. It also looks as though you pooped your kecks as well.
Oh God, that's a big poop there. That's almost like I've passed my lower colon through there as well. Never mind what's in there. It's
not a good look, I'm telling you now.
No, I know.
And you know what? The only way that you're going to harden yourself up there, that's disgusting. I just thought it was said
weird.
But you know what? It's like wearing in a new pair of walking boots.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's put a proper pair of shorts on now to cover up his Lycra.
I have.
Yeah, I think you didn't realise, did you? You thought you could have chance before you got into this house to put them shorts on before I seen that Lycra. You've been uncovered now as a Lycra lover.
It was the first thing he said when I walked in through his house. He's like, "You're wearing Lycra!" It's like, yeah, I know I am. All it was I was in a bit of a hurry to get out the door because it was 5:45 and I knew that I had to get here for a certain time, otherwise I was taking the mick. And I'd put my Lycra shorts on with every intention of then wearing some shorts over the top. I don't mind the notion of actually wearing Lycra for the purposes of comfort, alright, necessity, but I mean, just put some normal shorts on.
I'll take that as you get out clothes.
There you go.
But yeah, I still think it looks... Listen, I go back to the day when I was cycling, and me dad and my uncle used to go... We all used to go cycling together, and we used to cycle to Blackpool. Nice. And he'd be like about 19 stone in a pair of Lycra shorts. And it wasn't like...
It's like stuffing a sleeping
bag. And then he'd wear a cycling shirt then as well, which is tight on him.
Yep.
And a hat, and then bicycle... The worst thing ever for me is bicycle clips.
Yep.
Not just on the legs, but you know the ones that you put your feet in?
Yep.
Are they safe? Are they even safe? Have you got them on your bike?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah.
So what happens if you break all of a sudden and you can't get your foot out quick enough to balance yourself?
You fall over.
Well, yeah, that's obvious that, but why do people do it if that's going to be the result?
There is actually a way of doing it, and they've been made specifically that actually pivoting your ankles out untwists them out of the groove, so you're not sort of yanking them out of their fix. If you just twist, then they come straight out dead easy.
Yeah.
And most cyclists you find only tend to get 1 foot out of their clip-in pedals, so that they can just balance themselves on one leg, so it maintains, some.
Well, you've got cycling shoes now, haven't you? So they
Yeah.
give you the grip. I mean, I can understand why you used to have. What are they called?
Just clip-in shoes.
No, the clip-in things themselves that are already on the pedal. What are they
They're
called?
just pedals, because you actually change out the pedal itself, rather than adding anything to it.
All right, so it's already on these pedals.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, so which is great, but from my perspective, going back years ago, I know technology has changed a lot since then. But my worry was getting my feet out of them quick enough.
Yeah.
In order to balance myself. Now, you have obviously cycling shoes that give you the grip, and I can understand the reason why they had them initially.
Yeah.
Was because your feet can slip when you go in. When you're pedalling fast, your feet could just slip off anyway and cause you an incident anyway. But I thought,
they can do, yeah.
Now that you've got the appropriate shoes, you don't really need the...
Well, there's a mixture of them, isn't there? So you can have the clip-in shoes, which is much more based for road bikes and for racing and bits and bobs like that. But if you're kind of in the midpoint where you don't want clip-in shoes, but you don't want your feet flying about the pedals, you can actually get a pair of stirrups.
That's it, stirrups. That's the
stirrups. Exactly. So they're almost like a bit of a cargo net that sits on the top of your pedal. Right. You just slide your foot in there. No fixings or attachments necessary. Just slide your foot into the stirrup, and then it just stays there. It's great. That's you for your more sort of casual cycling, if you like, or your more sort of comfortable bit, really. But I was really opposed to having clip-in shoes, and indeed the first time I cycled here, I cycled on a mountain bike with no kind of clip-ins. I'm on a road bike.
A racer, or I mean, what's the difference?
Well,
that will be a lot lighter, I would imagine.
Oh hell yeah, that's a massive lot lighter.
Bike,
yeah, it's a lot lighter, and it's got a lot thinner tyres.
People don't appreciate how hard it is to ride a mountain bike up Parbold Hill. Not that you did in the end because you bottled it.
I didn't bottle it. You offered me an alternative route, and I took it.
You bottled it. You had the choice. You could have still gone up the Parbold Hill.
Well, I'll cycle up Parbold Hill when we finished here, then.
Will you? No.
Maybe.
Yeah,
we'll leave it at a maybe.
It's a difficult one anyway, but
it is.
When you're carrying a heavier bike, it's even worse.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you know what makes me laugh now is, because the electrical bikes. I see old age pensioners cycling up Parbold Hill quicker than I drive.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh yes.
Oh, honestly, I was driving through up Holland the other day after the Aptley Bridge game, and I noticed a cyclist, and he was clearly in his 50s, and I was going to overtake him, so I pulled out into the opposite lane in order to overtake him.
You started speeding up.
I realised that I was actually having to put my foot to the pedal a lot more intensely and with more length than what I should have done. I looked down at the speedometer, I was doing 35, and I was only just overtaking him.
Well, that's amazing, isn't it? But I drive through Liverpool quite often now, and a lot of the time I see these lads on the electric scooters, and they are so fast, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I've seen them overtake me, you name it.
They're on paths as well, which is even worse.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I know that whoever I forget what the company is now, but you see all of those, these weren't the same ones, by the ones, the ones that you can pay for, and they just lash at the side of the road.
Yeah.
You've seen the ones.
They're mainly in city centres.
Yeah, I think they've lost the contract, and I think that might be getting phased out altogether. But whatever these ones are now that the kids are using, they've all got the Under Armour gear on.
Yeah, and the balaclavas.
Balaclavas, in like 70, 80 degrees of sunshine, they've still got them on. Yeah, they're on these. They must be customised or something. They must be souped up because they are fast.
Yeah, they'll go 60.
They do 60?
They'll go 60, yeah.
Crikey.
If you haven't souped up the proper way, they'll do 60.
And they're not wearing a crash helmet?
No, they're not. No.
Oh, that's amazing.
They just think they can yob about like that.
Yeah. Listen, it's everywhere, by the way. I'm not just saying Liverpool, but I see it more in Liverpool. I'm particularly driving up and down, driving up the big A roads going into Liverpool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of big worry.
Yeah, it is
even more of a worry when you see it. a 95-year-old cyclist getting up Parbold quicker than I can get up and begin.
I mean, that's just irritating.
That's it. I've got the Mercedes now.
You do, so you could absolutely thunder your way past them and cut them off, because that's what Mercedes drivers do. And BMWs. And you don't even have to indicate if you don't want to.
No.
Because I gather that with Beamers, Mercs and Audis, the indicator is an optional extra.
All right. Anyway, listen, just talking briefly about Tuesday. We won't talk about the football side of things, but
not yet.
We'll talk about the importance of having that time after a defeat. We'll go sort of more in detail about the defeat, but how important do you think it is to regroup, have those little moments, that hour after the game where you can sit down, dissect things a little bit, laugh and cry in equal amounts? How important do you think that is?
I think it feels an awful lot less lonely when you do.
Yeah.
Particularly for us who are so enveloped within the progress of SCEM. Chairman, kitmen, vice chairman, social medias, all of that kind of carry on. Managers. I think it's all really important that we've all got an outlet to say what we want to say in a, somewhat constructive, somewhat not necessarily constructive, blowing off some steam kind of things. Maybe say a couple of things that we want to say in the heat of the moment. I think it's really important
and it's
to
good
have that.
There to sit and listen to a player and his perspective on it all as well.
Yeah.
And for even the honesty in turning around and saying, well, I particularly have the greatest game myself, but there was extenuating circumstances, whether it was the shape, formation, new players in particular roles. It's nice to get that perspective.
Yeah.
I think the sad thing about it is listening to Barney on the pitch after the game and at half-time. Well, at half-time he blew his stack, didn't he? But
of course he did.
At the end of the game, he was quite emotional about, this is the, the fifth time that, it's taken me five times before I could actually get anywhere, have a sniff at the job. And all of a sudden, we've gone from playing really, really good football to, abysmal football, to be fair. And like I say, we'll mention that later. But I just thought to mention that because I do feel as though it really is important to dissect it a little bit on neutral territory. And he can have a laugh and a joke. And of course, Barney's mate is absolutely hilarious as well, isn't he? We could do him on the show. Whether he could repeat half the things that he told us.
Oh, I don't think so. I think if he tried to repeat that, it would be...
Remind me, what was his name? I can't remember his name.
I don't know.
But really funny. I'm very, very knowledgeable about non-league football.
I've met him before, because he works with Barney.
Yeah.
But it didn't occur to me that was him until afterwards.
Yeah. Barney was right. If you'd have taken up the job off there and gone, you wouldn't have got any work done with him, would you?
None whatsoever.
Because he can talk.
Oh yes, he leads the.
But he's so funny, and know what? You go into work every day. You go into work with a smile, and you'd leave work with a smile every single day with great characters.
Oh, you'd laugh.
Yeah,
100% you'd laugh.
But listen, I think right now we should get on with the proper show now.
I think we really should.
Yeah, we might be able to hear the birds tweeting in the background.
Tweet!
Where we've got the windows open, so... Well, they're very tweety. You probably can't... I pick it more up on the headphones than you probably do. That's our AJ, by the way, who's doing a really poor impersonation of a bird. Yeah. Anyway, we'll get on with the real show.
Tweet.
Hello and welcome to the Speaking Frankly Football Show. I'm Frank Hughes, the chairman of Skelmersdale United Football Club, and alongside me is my co-host and passionate press officer, AJ the Jet. Not that being involved in the football club is a prerequisite for hosting a football podcast, but it certainly helps. We are ready to dive headfirst into the vibrant world of non-league football in the North West, and we might even take a moment to discuss some of the bigger headlines in the sport. We'll explore life in the Northwest counties, bring you interviews with well-known faces in the league, and analyse how local teams are performing while making bold predictions for their upcoming matches. Nothing is off the limits here. we'll be diving into all kinds of topics, including complicated refereeing decisions and regulations that often leave fans perplexed. We want to hear from you too. This is your show, so don't hesitate to reach out with topics you want us to tackle. Let's get this conversation started and enjoy every single moment. We are speaking frankly. Hello and welcome to the Speaking Frankly Football Show. This is Series 3, Episode 4. Very warm welcome. A very warm... I'm starting that one again.
No, you are not. Don't start that again. No need for that.
Do you reckon there's no need for it? So should we carry on recording?
I mean, I've still never forgiven you for continuing to record when I loudly blurted out that Jayhawks was the assistant manager of Burscough when he was in fact the vice chairman.
And he reminded you?
And he reminded me, and you let that run.
I can't remember letting that run, but sometimes, listen, I never edit the show. Very rarely. It's only if I make bloopers like I've just done at the start of the show. Because what I was trying to do was introduce AJ to the show, which he's already introduced himself now.
Well, of course I have, and I'm staple part of the show now, aren't I? So there's no need for introduction anymore. But hello, thank you very much for joining us, everybody who's listening in from the cockpit of your planes, the backseat of your trucks, or underneath your sink, wherever you are listening to the Speaking Frankly Football Show. Thanks a lot for tuning in. So today, it may be cooling down outside in the weather front, but the season still continues to heat up and hot up with all sorts of controversy and kickoffs going off, even in just the friendly fixtures. We'll be having a look at goings on at Burscough and Chadderton and Thornton Cleveleys. We'll give you the oversight on the Isle of Man Festival of Football, which took place over the weekend. We're going to check in on one of our favourite clubs, which is Clitheroe, as well as Lower Breck, Prescott Cables, Marine, all the usual suspects. We'll go through all the friendlies that happened over the weekend. We'll visit Controversial Corner, where Flixton seem to have made themselves a tiny little comfort corner in our Controversial Corner. Also Walthamstow FC and season tickets as well. We'll also look at fake kits, young supporters, and then Skem as well. No guest today, unfortunately, due to circumstances that we've alluded to in the pre-show show. We don't have one, but we are hoping to get David Platt on very soon. So we'll see to that next week. But all of that is to come. So, Frank, where are we starting first?
Well, I was going to say that I had a little funny story, but funnily enough, I forgot what it was.
Good.
What was your opening line?
Mm-hmm.
I forgot what you...
But I don't need any introduction.
Yeah, I can't remember anyway. Listen, we'll start with the North West Counties anyway.
There you go.
So Chorley have just signed Elliott Taylor from Burscough, very short-lived. We were expecting it to happen, but maybe not as soon as it did. Obviously, this is a huge blow to Burscough as they're stepping up their preparations for the season, which starts in just over a week, am I right? Just over a week already. So meanwhile, Burscough been busy signing more players. The shock signing being that of Ben Barnes. Titty ye not. We know Ben has been playing pre-season games, so it wasn't really much of a guess. But until he's actually signed the registration form, he's not actually signed. I'm guessing a little bit more difficult for keepers, isn't it? Because when you get into the close season or the pre-season and you're looking at the other players that come in, there'll be a new goalkeeper. You're probably, because there's only that one position, you're probably thinking to yourself, if there's 2 or 3 keepers come in alongside yourself, you're almost jockeying for position, and you don't want to commit yourself unless you think you're actually going to be uno numero. And I'm not suggesting for 1 minute that, well, no, I am actually, because I think Ben's clever enough. He's thinking to himself, well, I'm going to have a look here to see whether I'm in or I'm out, which is fair enough. I'm glad he's back at Burscough. He feels as though he's got to a point to prove. I don't think he has. No. Obviously, that's the old regime, the old manager when he was back at Burscough before he went to AFC Liverpool. But I understand where he's coming from. He wants to go back and listen.
Flourish.
Yeah, listen, he'll love to be back there, and of course, you know, it's closer for Kate and the kids as well. So
it is. Yeah, they always really enjoyed being a part of Burscough, didn't they? You know, we saw them on time to time when Burscough weren't playing, so we're sort of very much hoping they'll come and pop their heads down if Burscough aren't in action. But Skem are. I mean, we saw him on the West Lancashire Charity Cup weekend a few weekends ago, and Ben turned out for Burscough. They're suitably, sort of typically dominant performances between the sticks, really. But he looks a hell of a lot more mobile, and I think he's lost some weight as well.
Well, he was happy to hear people saying that, the same comment. Kate didn't, I don't think she alluded to whether he actually had lost weight, but she said he'll be really pleased to hear that, that you've noticed. So he must have been working on his weight.
On his weight, and his speed.
Not that he was a big lad anyway.
Well, he's always been tall.
Yeah, he's massive, isn't he? He's like the Jolly Green Giant.
He's a handsome man.
Well, he is the Jolly Green Giant now, isn't he? Because he's back in green. Or pink, or...
No, I
whatever kit they wear in the keepers these days.
I don't know if he's a pink wearing kind of guy.
I think goalkeepers for some reason.
The goalkeepers are absolutely. Joe Langford loves pink. Ollie Martin over at Glossop North End loves pink.
I think Ben loves pink as well.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I think Ben. We'll have to ask him.
Well, if you are a goalkeeper,
he was supposed to be on the show this week, but because the way things have run and guests have had to drop out because of friendlies or other reasons, we've had to sort of.
Move the pack back a little bit.
Move the pack back a bit. Yeah, we've had to do that. Exactly what AJ said. So listen, anyway, joining Ben is central midfielder Andrew Starkey, also from AFC Liverpool, described by Burscough as a full-blooded central midfielder who brings energy, intensity and a real competitive edge every time he steps onto the pitch. The type of player who covers every blade of grass, never shirks a challenge and sets the tempo with his relentless work rate.
It just sounds like me.
Yeah, exactly what I was thinking. And Joel Skillen is another midfielder arriving from AFC. I'm assuming he came from AFC Liverpool.
I think he did, yeah.
So, listen, the Burscough build is in full swing. On paper, it looks great, and Stafford will be delighted with the way things have gone so far. He'd be disappointed losing Elliott Taylor, obviously, but the definition of success is players moving higher up.
Of course,
it's good on the club, but equally, he'll accept that this is just noise at the moment, and there's still a lot of hard work to be done. Following that 5-0 win at Heskett Bank over the weekend, they lost on Tuesday night to 4-3 to Lostock St Gerard. A bit of a wake-up call for them, but a great game for the neutral by all accounts. And they were losing 3-0 at half-time.
I've watched Lostock St Gerard play before, and they are a really good West Lancashire outfit.
That's what Jay was saying. They're going to do it. They just got promoted, have they? Or
No,
the West Lancashire Premier League?
The West Lancashire Prem, I think they finished second or third in the table this season. Yeah, exactly. But I think their preparation is for that next step into counties and semi-pro football. I wouldn't be surprised if they make it. They're a brilliant team. What I will say about them, though, is they don't cover themselves in glory when they celebrate their opposition making a mistake, which I have seen them do. That makes them a piece of shit. Otherwise, I'm sure they will flourish in the semi-pro ladder. But whilst all good things are kind of going on at Burscough, you have to kind of wonder exactly how AFC Liverpool are going to recover from this. So they've lost Elliott Taylor, Caleb Jones, Joel Skillen, Andrew Starkey, Ben Barnes, and that's just the ones that we can remember. Yeah,
there's a few. But listen,
there is a few.
They've AFC lost a player, Elliott Taylor. Burscough lost him equally. He's only featured a couple of times in the pre-season friendlies. What do we make of that? I know Jay has gone on record as saying, listen, we're not a club that's going to step in anybody's way. He was on a contract. You know, they've released him from that contract in order for him to sign up for Chorley.
So, we'll perspectivise this then. So Elliott Taylor is 24. He's had 2 amazing seasons with AFC Liverpool. Nobody can doubt his potential and his capacity. He's made the jump to Chorley which is 3 divisions higher than what he's been playing in. But at his age, you're kind of hoping that you're not really kind of buying him from Burscough to then send him out on loan at his age. You're kind of hoping that he just starts straight off the bat and is able to take it.
But we're assuming he's going to be a regular starter, or whether
or a first team squad.
Well, whether the forwards are already injured and he's going to be a stopgap for them. So you could see a situation where he comes back out on loan to Burscough. You certainly hope that he's given this opportunity beginning of the season, starts scoring goals, and then he poses a question for the boss then, and he gets maybe a long run out.
We all hope that, we really do.
But you feel as though, and listen, we have to be honest because we're the Speaking Frankly football show,
and honesty is what we do.
Yeah. So when we look at Lewis, Byrne and Benito, Lowe, you take one away from the other, and you feel as though they're not as productive without each other.
Elliott Taylor and Caleb Jones.
Yeah. But I think probably what Burscough have got now is they've got Caleb Jones that hit the ground running with Burscough, scored goals. I think he's probably scored about 5 in pre-season already.
Yeah.
Are they going to... You can't really miss something that you've not had.
No, and I don't think...
So with Caleb is, by all accounts, everybody loves him.
Not
that they don't love Elliott Taylor because he's
no, of course not. I think what the difference is that Caleb could probably do it on his own. Now the question that we've always asked is, can Byrne and Lowe do it without the other? But I think with Jones and Taylor, they've already proved that they can. And for Jones, I hope he doesn't mind me saying this with the greatest of respect, it's probably a little bit easier for him. He's in a league that he's very accustomed to, in a side that he's able to play to his strengths on the wing and cutting in onto his left foot. Whereas Taylor's now got to make a 3-division jump, bed in with a whole new squad of players, and then start scoring goals against teams that are borderline professional, because he's in the National League North with Chorley. He's bypassed the entire Northern Premier League setup in order to get here. I hope to God it works out for him, but if it doesn't, I think it may have just been a step too far right now, and he needs to be looking at somewhere like Bury or Breck, Clitheroe,
you hear
somewhere
this
like
a
that.
lot about strikers, don't you? That when they leave a particular club and they've 46 goals, was it 43, 46 goals last season? 47 of don't matter a goal. 47 goals, great return.
That was a quiz question.
Once you've got that camaraderie between the players, the management team, you flourish in that kind of system. We listen to a lot of podcasts, and we've probably spoken to 1 or 2 strikers themselves that say that when they've moved to another club, the goals have dried up. And they can never put a finger on it. They don't know why it's happened. It's just it doesn't happen for them.
I mean, and we see this across the professional circuit as well. Do you remember? I mean, the easiest example for me to look at is Fernando Torres. Absolutely destroyed defences at Liverpool. Went to Chelsea. He was a complete dud. Why?
It happens. I think you obviously get comfortable, but there are players out there that are exceptional, and they can slot into any team. Harry Kane is a prime example of that.
Absolutely.
Makes the move from Tottenham to Bayern Munich, is it? Bayern Munich, and scores more goals than he's ever scored.
Exactly.
I'm not saying the German league is any easier, but it's certainly not as hard as the Premier League, is it? So,
exactly. But Harry Kane sort of flourishes with that. So for Elliott, it's a big task for him. I think he's going to be really looking forward to. But if this doesn't work out the way that we all want it to, I think we'll all be completely understanding as to why, and that he maybe comes back in 3 years and gives it another go.
Yeah, or comes back on loan.
No, I don't. I think if he goes back on loan, he has to go to a Northern Prem team. I don't think he can go to Burscough because he's already proved that he can do it.
That might already be part of the agreement, that's all I'm saying. I mean, listen.
Maybe, but if he wants to expand his capabilities in the way that is going to prepare him for life in National League North, he's got to do it at Northern Premier League level.
Burscough making very, very little out of this. This is something, if he's productive and he does his job, and starts banging them in there, and he gets another move, then it'll be the sell-on clause that makes any money. Really, greatest of respect to Jay, because I think
he's played the smart move there.
What he's proven is that he's a man's man, and he's a man for football, and he wants to see people progress rather than hold them back.
Of course he does.
And I had that many moons ago with Sean McConville. I had to make a decision between what was business and what made personal sense for the lad himself, and I'm glad that I didn't block his opportunity, because we know these opportunities can come and go as quickly as they've arrived. So
where did you sell him to in the end?
Accrington
Stanley, wasn't it? Yeah.
Who the hell are they? But listen, we'll be talking about Sean a little bit later. But moving on to Chadderton. Listen, there's going to be a brief show. I say a brief show, but we can talk the hind legs off a donkey. So there's very, very little news filters in. And I keep saying to anybody that's out there, if you've got any news, fixtures or anything like that,
tell us, and
we'll feature you on the show. And
£5.
we know there's a lot of people out there that like to be featured on the show. So anyway, Chadderton, we're moving on to Chadderton. So they've re-signed Joe Richards, who's a left back. He played a big part in their promotion season to the North West Counties Premier back in the 22-23 season.
Really? Is that how little time they've been in the Counties Prem?
Yeah,
just from 2023.
If you look at the archives, I think they finished second. They got promoted.
That's gnarly. That fair play to them, because they've challenged for promotion.
I think who they finished second to now. Was it? Who was it?
22-23. Wasn't Pilks, was it?
Pilks.
Oh!
I think it was Pilks.
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure it was Pilks.
Okay.
So, well played there. You've been doing your homework.
Do you know what? Somebody is selling a Pilks shirt on Facebook Marketplace for £15, and I'm seriously tempted to buy it.
All right.
I don't know why. I've got no soft spot for Pilks. If you
start cycling while I'm wearing that at the same time,
nah.
I'll get my air rifle out.
I'd be doing it just to play football, because I'm going back to start playing five-a-side.
What's going on here?
Well, I'm really hot and I'm really sweaty and I'm really aware that I stink.
He's gone naked right in front of me.
Right, well, let's just tone that down a little bit. I've taken off my cycling
shirt. It's like looking in the mirror. You do understand, don't you?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Anyway, listen. The reason I mentioned Chadderton, not a great deal of
again, it's just a bit of a rebuild. It's a bit of a rebuild that they're having to go through, isn't it? So
they've lost Lewis Byrne and Benito Lowe. We believe they've both gone to Flixton, and we believe that the £600 that was reputedly being paid to Lewis Byrne is £450. They're on £450 each. I'd love somebody from there to come on the show and tell us whether that's right or it's wrong. But either way,
it's sort of rumoured that the budget is about £6,000 a week or something, isn't it?
Yeah,
absolute ludicrous money. That.
Oh well, yeah. Listen, I think we'll probably talk about that later.
A bit later on.
How difficult do you think it's going to be for Chadderton?
So.
They've got
yes and no.
We assume they've got a decent budget there because they've got I'm assuming they've got all the takings from the higher of the pitch, which makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it does, and we
starts to make money. They've got a decent clubhouse there, by the way.
Yeah, they do, and we know that was always a bit of a centre for building money when we talked to their manager in season 2 of the show. We talked to him there, and he said that it was part of the big build, and that while they were sharing at Avro, this is what they were working toward.
Yeah.
So I think there is going to be a bit of a build. Obviously, they're not without some really good players. Okay, so Ollie Ford has signed for the club. I'm just trying to
sound or re-sound or.
I think he's signed. I think signed. So he, excuse me, he signed from Sandbach United. Okay, and he played at Cheadletown as well. They've also kind of retained a couple of good players as well. So Tyler Berry was on their books last season. What's his name? Something Jank Patter. He played at Droylsden last season and he was absolutely mega. Tawab Jank Patter. So he was at Droylsden a couple of seasons ago, but he's at Chadderton now, and he's been retained. And Matt Barlow as well, who's joined from I think it's Ramsbottom, I want to say. So they are kind of in the process of a bit of a build, which we knew that they would have to have been anyway.
It wouldn't have been that significant, would it? Just okay, you've lost two of your greatest goal scorers, but listen, we know replacing strikers is the difficult one. If you can replace them strikers and you've got firepower, then you're okay. You're going to do okay.
Yeah, of course you are. Yeah.
Do we still think that they're going to be up in the top 5? I can't remember what we.
I think you said yes, and I've said no.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of still stand by that. My belief is that they are, for all of this rebuild that I think they'll be all right. I don't envisage them being.
No,
as
you don't see them breaking any world records.
No, I don't.
Which is fair enough. I don't listen. Who knows? We might have it all wrong, but what we will do is, before we actually go into the season, we will look at our predictions again, and we may sort of do a little bit backwards and forwards.
Yeah, I think we're more likely to kind of come on and probably do it after about 6 weeks or so. I think they've signed. Have they signed Jordan Lazenbury as well? Yeah, they have. So Jordan Lazenbury, who was at West Didsbury and Chorley most predominantly last season, and had a brief stint at Bury towards the end of last season, he's now signed for Chadderton. So that's a really big positive for Chad, is signing somebody like Jordan Lazenbury. So there are elements to this squad rebuild that we know is going to be really good for them. I don't envisage them being in the top 5 or top 6, but I'll be I think they'll be top half at least.
Yeah.
Moving
on to Thornton Cleveleys. Thornton have announced the return of centre-half Benjamin Reader from Exton Villa.
Reader by name, reader by nature.
Yeah. So Benjamin played a huge part in Exton's recent success. Thornton's preparations for the season ahead seem to be going well. They managed a 1-1 draw with Bamber Bridge last night and a 1-0 win over FC St Helens at the weekend. Manager Paul Gregory has added new signings: Kieran Shaw, Joe Robinson, Josh Winder, you say Winder, I say Winder, and Jacob Gregory during the close season, and probably other players there.
Jacob Gregory is a good coup, to be fair. I think that was he's the club captain at AFC Blackpool, and he's been there for absolute time. So to bring him into it, to be able to kind of prize him out of and away from the mechanics.
Well, I really appreciate your knowledge on that one there, because I didn't have the time to research those names in particular.
Honestly.
But listen, it's one of those clubs, from my personal perspective, having been up there and witnessed it and its growth, it's one of those clubs that you want to do well, but it's also a club that you believe could pull off a surprise or two
a little bit
next season.
I think so. So they finished. I think they finished about 7th last season.
Did they finish in the playoffs?
No, they didn't finish in the playoffs, but I think they finished just outside of it. I think they were going great guns until about sort of 2 or 3 games prior to the end of the season. But with this kind of reshape that they had, signing the players that they have done, you'd like to think that this gives them the impetus to kind of push on, particularly when the Counties Division 1 North is likely to be more open, open for competition than at any time that we've known it to be in recent seasons. Last couple of seasons we've known Atherton LR were going to be up there, Nelson were going to be up there, Droylsden were going to be up there, teams like that. Otherwise, it's very much a kind of wide open space as to who can kind of prove a point and who can kind of play a bit of a dark horse, which is why we were also surprised, with the greatest of respect to them, that MSB Walton finished 3rd last season.
Yeah, you were right. They finished in 7th position. 2 points outside the playoffs. Obviously, Squires Gate took up that 5th spot.
They did, yeah.
What's really pleasing with this club is they're also committed to giving the younger lads a chance as well. The manager has said we've had over 60 lads from under 18s through to the first team at our sessions. That gives us a good insight to the future, so it's nice to see that they've got a plethora of players in that particular area, because you don't always assume that sort of Fylde coast area has, and then you would think that maybe, you know, Fleetwood and Morecambe would have the they'd have the greater success there, wouldn't they?
Yeah, and of course they do. Fleetwood do, and then
in
Blackpool
terms of recruitment of players,
in terms of recruitment, and Blackpool FC as well. But I think if you've got sort of one or two isolated players within that team that kind of stand out, they just need like a bit of a better influence to be able to, you know, step up a level, if you like. I think one of the classic examples that I can think of is Mateus Cunha. He was at Wolves 2 seasons ago and was the standout in a really poor team, and he's absolutely flourishing now at United. So I think players like Jacob Gregory, as well as Kieran Shaw, who also played for AFC Blackpool last season, but he's traded orange for red. I remember he's really distinctive because he's got tattoos everywhere, and I remember him for. Yeah, all right, I've got tattoos. No, I mean he's got them around his neck. I mean they look fucking cool. They do.
Do they?
Yeah, I love neck tattoos, mate.
Yeah.
I'd love to have one, but I need to be in like the right job for it, something like that. I also need to figure out what I'm gonna.
So if you're gonna be a paramedic,
if I'm gonna be a paramedic, yeah, just rocking up there with a full neck tattoo. I'm here to save your life.
is there any profession where you're not allowed to show your neck tattoos? I would imagine the police force would be.
No, I think you can still be in the police force and have a neck tattoo. I'll ask our handsome mountain Edwin van der Barnes on that one. And I called him that the other day. He really likes that. Or I think being a solicitor is the other one. You can't have tattoos at all if you're in the legal profession. You need to have them, you know, removed or covered up. Otherwise, I think as a society, we're kind of plenty more open to them. But anyway, Kieran Shaw, tattoos everywhere, just signed for Thornton Cleveleys, think he's going to do great. Honestly think Thornton Cleveleys might be in with a better shout of going to the playoffs this season.
Well, Thornton Cleveleys out of that group of
the Fylde Coast teams,
clubs up there, they're sort of on the up, where AFC Blackpool's
they are on the way down. Yeah,
stagnated.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we saw this. I don't think we saw it coming, but a couple of seasons ago, they had the Heppel brothers, didn't they? They had Shaw, they had Gregory, they had John... What's his name? John Joe... he scored against us. I don't want to say it's John Joe O'Toole, but that might be his name. He scored against us when we went to the mechanics ground 2 seasons ago, and we lost 2-1. He was part of that team. They've just leaked players, I think, because they've not really gone anywhere in the last couple of seasons, and I think it's cost them, whereas Thornton Cleveleys have kind of gone the opposite way. They've gone on the up and up. So last season they finished 7th. The season before they finished 13th, I think it was. But they've got a really good stadium, which you've seen in person. I mean, you know that it's a really good time. I've seen it on YouTube. So there's reasons to see why Thornton Cleveleys are probably that team that are going to be slightly more on the up and up this season. And of course, we've forgotten about Squires Gate, who finished in the playoffs last season. Yeah. And were in Counties Premier the season before.
Yeah, they're all nice places to go by the seaside, aren't they? You always feel as though you're going on holiday when you go there. It's a little bit cleaner and tidier, Thornton Cleveleys, and that's what I like about it.
Yeah, I mean, I have only been to AFC Blackpool. I missed the Thornton Cleveleys fixture 2 seasons ago, and I've never been.
That was a night game, the AFC Blackpool.
It was, yeah. I remember it. I remember it quite well. To be honest, it was cold, dark. But it was a non-league ground, and I really miss non-league grounds that are in the semi-pro circuit these days.
Yeah, well, listen, we're going to try and taking a few more non-league games this season. We've got to do the show justice, really. But listen, the thing we also need to do is we need to sort of start featuring our own league a little bit more as well.
Do.
So I'm gonna get into Gary Berwick and ask him to get into the the managers or the chairmans of the little clubs in the Liverpool County Prem and get them to speak. They've got their own fully bona fide website now as well, which is
outstanding.
Which is about time, but nice to see.
It is very good to see. Yeah. Right, we'll move on. We're going to move on to the Isle of Man Festival of Football, which took place over the weekend, featuring FC Isle of Man, Bury, Radcliffe, and Shrewsbury.
And it wasn't held at the Bowl.
Oh, was it not?
No.
So where was it held?
Well, I'll tell you. You keep waffling on now. You tell me what happened.
Was it held at the Toast Plate? I don't know. Anyway. So, from the Isle of Man Festival of Football, it was laid out in much the same way as the West Lancashire Charity Trophy was a couple of weekends ago, for which we featured in. So you've got your allocated fixtures where two teams are drawn against each other. But it's not a round robin, so it's just a straight knockout as to who gets to the final and who contends for the third place playoff. Isle of Man opened proceedings with their game against Bury, from which Bury emerged victorious by 3-1, and that was followed up by Radcliffe against Shrewsbury, and credit to Radcliffe, because they held Shrewsbury to a 0-0 draw, which obviously then went straight to penalties, and Radcliffe emerged victorious 4-2 on penalties, which of course meant that the playoff game for third place was contested between FC Isle of Man and Shrewsbury on the Sunday. FC Isle of Man were defeated in that game by 4-0 against professional opposition, and then the final, which was Bury versus Radcliffe, but also Jono versus Morley, and Bury emerged victorious by 2-1, thus winning the coveted Isle of Man Festival trophy, and getting another trophy for the cabinet very early on.
So it was held at the Balaclone Stadium, which is the home of Ramsey AFC.
Cool.
So it's grass pitch, they're a bona fide grass pitch rather than the plastic pitch, which is
the
case for the bowl. But a very nice looking ground, by the way. I've seen it, and it's quite nice.
It's a lovely little spot, is it? Yeah.
So
all right, fair enough.
Well, yeah, I said it last week. It was a place that is very warm in me. You got a warm spot for me.
You certainly do.
In my heart, I love the Isle of Man. Love to go back there again. Love to be invited back.
Yeah. So which team? I was thinking about this the other, obviously with being really tempted to look at that Pilkington shirt, despite having no affiliation whatsoever. I just want to play five-a-side football and need non-league shirts to do it, because I won't buy professional outfit shirts. Who are the teams and clubs that you have a soft spot for? And that if you were tasked,
we're gonna come to one in a minute, which is Clitheroe.
Oh, yeah, of course,
But before we mention that, take a long, hard look at this. I think back in the day, I used to love going down to Congleton.
Mm-hmm.
Used to love going to Kids Grove. Any of them grounds around there, and surprisingly, Newcastle Town. Newcastle Town is a velodrome. There's a cycle track around it.
Radical.
And I don't know why I like it, because I've got every reason why I shouldn't, because it's got a track around it, and the pitch is far away than it should be. Of course, I mentioned the Isle of Man. I think again that's got a track around it or something. Pretty sure. I can't remember.
It's the bowl, isn't it? So it must have something.
I like the old Nantwich ground, when the old Nantwich Town. That was the Dabbers ground. That was a really nice ground, but they've got a new ground there.
So if you were going to be playing football on a cold Tuesday night down at the JMO, and you didn't have a Skem shirt, so you're gonna pick a shirt from another club, who you've bought a shirt, a pin badge, maybe brought home one of the pint glasses featuring the club logo that we did for Clitheroe. Who's your teams that are you going to be doing that with?
Clitheroe, definitely.
Oh, 100%, yeah. We'd both do that for Clitheroe.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
I used to love Rossendale United when that was their Dark Lane. That was a fabulous ground. Strangely enough, I think, because the quintessential non-league grounds, I think Bacup Borough.
Really?
And baked butter is ugly, but it's got a beauty of its own.
Yeah, I really love the picturesque scenery of that tractor behind the goal.
Well, it is. It's a lovely. It's a lovely setup. Isn't it, when you think about it, the area and the views around it, a little bit like Cone.
Never been Cone.
Cone's another one that's got a bit of affection for as well. Probably the grounds that I probably least liked when Skem were playing them are probably the ones that I like more now, because we're seeing more and more hubs, community hubs.
So we miss those old school.
But it's like JMO. I mean, JMO has got no appeal for me at all, personally. Long term, as even if we'd have been offered a route back to the JMO,
which we weren't.
No, we weren't. But in terms of the what would you call it? The aesthetics. I don't think it was. It's not. It's not. It's not. I like non-league grounds when they started their roots as a non-league football ground.
Yeah.
White Moss Park. You'll never. So Stormy Corner. I'll never have. Listen, I've got fond memories of Stormy Corner. Of course, I have, because I spent a lot of time there as the chairman.
Yeah.
But White Moss Park, that was unique.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not old enough to have remembered what Sandy Lane was like, but Sandy Lane probably would have had a charm of its own. Another one that had a charm of its own was Horwich RMI.
Yeah.
Now, Horwich RMI is like it's no longer there now, but it was. I can't even remember the name of the road now. But the pitch was on a slant. It was worse than Clitheroe's.
Slanty Lane.
It was renowned for its slant.
I'm surprised they didn't call it Slanty Lane.
Yeah, it could have possibly been nicknamed Slanty Lane.
There you go.
But then there's so many quintessential non-league football grounds that I think what we've been replaced with now are hideous monstrosities that. And listen, it's a pathway. It's a gateway to get yourself back up the leagues. The only modern sort of ground that I really appreciate at the moment now is Halewood Apollo.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say that.
I like that. But once again, there's a stadium that was built, or a pitch that was built after 5 or 6 years after Halewood Leisure Centre was.
Yeah.
And then it's become customised to become a non-league football ground.
Yeah.
Put the turnstiles in.
A very small stand.
Yeah.
And just one.
Two small stands. It's
on the one side, yeah.
Yeah, it's got changing rooms in the leisure centre itself. Yeah. But if you had a blank canvas, the non-league football club would have the leisure centre would have been built after the non-league club.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. That's the way. If when we get back to Skem, I would like to think that if we do have a leisure centre, which we all need in this town, I'd like to think that the non-league football club would come first. And then that would be built around it, paddle courts, you name it. Bring something into Skem that's everybody else has got, and some people, it's unique to them now, right? This paddle tennis is taking off.
It has.
Big style.
Yeah, it's a big kind of hobby, if you like. It's kind of the big sporting hobby at the minute, isn't it? Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, we're kind of being. The classic ground is being replaced by a modern multi-use necessity area. I wouldn't have had a ball pit in there. No, because there's a ball pit in there.
Oh yeah, but listen, that was built primarily as a leisure centre.
Yeah, of course.
And it's fantastic, and I like it. What really hit me, and I mentioned it when I met up with the bloke from Knowsley Council with Mark Kitts. It was before Christmas when we first played there. Played twice, won in a cup game as well, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
The first game that we played there, I think, was just before the Christmas, and they had all nations and origins outside in a choir of light. So they were all lit up in fancy dress.
I remember
clothing. It was lovely to listen to people singing, young children singing, being part of a community, and of course. It's built right in the middle of a new conurbation of housing.
Yes, it is
affordable housing.
Yeah,
and Halewood was very much seen as a new town, even though it was part of Liverpool. it became an area that was to accommodate the overspill of Liverpool, and it was a little bit like Kirby and Skem. It was forgotten for years.
Yeah.
Now they seem to have pulled the socks up and done something about
They've
it.
had that regeneration.
I'm sure there will be people that will turn around and say, it's no better, it's worse, or it's improved 100%. There'll be split opinion on that. But from what I've seen there, I'd love to be in an area where new houses are being built, new football club, new leisure centre,
just a hub of possibility, really, isn't it?
Yeah, because that's all you want. But and I don't know. Sometimes I think to myself, because people are asking me, "What are your requirements? What do you want? What do you want?" You know, when I'm talking to these people, the experts and the planners,
and all
and I'm saying
pitch.
we don't want a plastic pitch, but
other than that, we're easy.
You know, are we selling our souls to the devil there with it? Because Marine, if you go to Marine, before Marine had the plastic pitch, it was unique. It was a three-sided ground. It was very raucous when people were, supporters were in there.
Embedded within the local community as well.
Yeah, I mean, there was I think, 1980s program called Marine Life.
Nice.
So you can get that on YouTube. Listen, anybody that's into non-league football, suggest that they listen to that. Rolly Howard was the manager there, the longest serving manager ever, I think.
As recognised by the Guinness Book of Records, 1972 to 2005.
So I suggest you watch Marine Lives to see how much further they've come on since then, because they've got that huge stand now.
Yeah.
That main stand, that's not been there forever and a day.
No, of course not.
I don't know how many years old it is, 25, 30, I don't know. Just put the figure on it, and then you've got the new stand at the back of the other goal.
The away end, yeah.
And then you've got the plastic pitch. I think the plastic pitch changes the aura, the essence of non-league football.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I'm caught between it. I understand why it has to happen, because I remember when we had matches postponed at Stormy Corner, and the reason that we had them postponed was because, one, the drainage wasn't very good. We were spending a fortune on trying to establish how we could make it better. But ultimately, games were getting called off left, right and centre. So that's a costly expense. So if you turn up for a Tuesday night game, you put the floodlights on, you've ordered the pies, your burgers, you bought your buns in, you've ordered more beer in, you've got bar staff, you've got paying staff to come in to work for that game. All of a sudden the referee comes along and says, no, it can't be played, it's too dangerous. Then you've got the floodlights on now. I don't know whether it's true or not, but somebody told me once that once you put them, firing them floodlights up costs you about 70, 80 quid before. So even if you switch them straight back, and you can't switch them straight off, you need to leave them for about 15 or 20 minutes before you can switch them back on. By that time, you've racked up a bill of £80. So if you think about the cost to that, the cost to the players, supporters for coming down, it has a knock-on effect, but also staff. It has a big impact financially on a football club. And when you're a non-league football club, plastic makes sense. Yeah, and it's a business. It's a business decision. So yeah, I mean, if somebody turned around and said to me, "Listen, you've got the option now. You can either have a plastic pitch or a grass pitch." If I picked a grass pitch, I would be. I'd probably be marched out of the town. Yeah. With my tail between my legs and saying, "What are you thinking, Frank?" So I think, even though a lot of people, and a hell of a lot of people, will agree with me, I always prefer to watch football on grass. That said, now I'm getting more used to it over the years. I remember years ago, one of the first non-league football clubs that had a plastic pitch in the Northwest Counties was a club called Woodley Sports that became Stockport Town.
It did, yeah.
Woodley Sports, it was one of the first. I used to think to myself, it bounces so high. It's unnatural bounce. It bounces in different directions. But so does natural soil, sods, unevenness of it.
Particularly now.
Well, you've seen it at Appley Bridge.
Yes, I did.
It was great to go and watch, to be in that area, nice little area to watch football, on a pitch that looked better looking at it than it actually did when you walked upon it. It'd been verti-drained, I think, and you could see the burn marks of where the lines had been made. So it was a little bit like a sports a school sports field where you would have your summer races on, you've got them Byrne marks for tracks.
Yeah.
So it's you caught between a rock and a hard place, really, because a normal pitch, that's what I was brought up on. Mud, thunder, tackles, and back in the day, of course, the health and safety wasn't as particular as it is now. So you could get away with playing on the mud bath.
Yeah,
you couldn't do that now. No. And I used to remember Jimmy Lawrence, who used to be the groundsman, God bless his soul. Now he's dead, but he used to be the groundsman at Whitemoss Park, and he used to have I think if it was a Ford Fiesta or something. He had a car. Ford Granada. I can't remember what it was, but he had a car anyway, and he used to carry the roller on the back of it, so we used to go up and down on the Whitemoss Park. But we always used to joke, so Tuesday night, absolutely piddling it down. The pitch would be destroyed after the Tuesday night game. It'd be like a mud path.
Yeah.
Then by Saturday, whatever he did to it, he just revitalised it. It was ready to play again. Mm-hmm. It was brilliant. It was like Wembley to a degree, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not that Wembley was ever that good back in its day, you know what I mean?
No, yeah. That's why they tore the whole thing down in 2000.
So,
if you were going to play Tuesday night football down at the JMO and you had to wear shirts that weren't scam, you'd pick Congleton, Bacup Borough and Clitheroe.
Yeah. And there's probably a lot more because you put me on the spot.
I didn't put you on the spot. You went off so far on a tangent, you've ended up in bleeding Rossall.
Rossendale?
No, Rossall. It's just north of Thornton Cleveleys.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, the name of the ground, is that what the ground is?
No. The name of the ground is Gamble Road, but Rossall is an actual suburb of sort of the Thornton Cleveleys area.
I always knew why I brought you onto this show. Was to educate
It's because Rossall has, in its town, a private school, for which my father was, very briefly, a teacher.
Oh, right. Oh, there you go.
Exactly.
Brilliant. So, well, talking about quintessential, so let's talk about Clitheroe.
Yeah, don't ask me about what my soft teams are. It's absolutely fine.
So what I've said, it's well known that I absolutely love Clitheroe. I love the town. I love the Ribble Valley. And I've had a love-hate relationship with Clitheroe Football Club. I say hate because back in the day when we used to play them at Shawbridge, it was like going to Galatasaray. I think I explained that to you once before. The home crowd were extremely vocal and intimidating.
It's quite hostile, isn't it, on its day?
But I keep getting drawn back to the place as we did on our visit at the tail end of last season.
It was brilliant.
It was totally different. There was nothing to play for in terms of... So there wasn't a raucous crowd. There wasn't that feeling, that energy of, we're going to have a go at you Scousers. Because the worst thing that Clitheroe ever did was whenever Skem turned up, Linda and Mike Bowman would turn around and say, we're not Scousers, we're born in West London. We're from Skem. We were born in Skem. We're not Scousers. They hated being told that they were Scousers,
despite being in the county of West Lancashire and with a Wigan postcode.
Yeah,
sure.
But of course, everybody just assumes that everybody from Skelmersdale is Scouse. And listen, they're probably more Ormskirk Tonians now, aren't they, than anything? But back in the day, and it still is now to a degree. If you're the opposition going there.
Oh, it's tense.
It is really. So, listen, Clitheroe manager Sean McConville was the first player I ever sold to the Football League. So for me, to see him grow from a young man into a great player, and then to see the confidence he's got as a manager now, I'm even more invested. I've seen him grow from a shy kid, teenager, into a fully fledged manager now that's doing a decent job. And albeit last season they finished, it was a disappointing finish for Clitheroe, although they had that great run in the FA Trophy. I've got a really good feeling about them this season. They've signed Freddie Machel on a long-term loan from Bury.
Yep.
He was out on loan, as you know, to Padiham for the last couple of seasons, and he's been part of the reason why they've had a lot of success. Sean himself, he appears to be very confident about Clitheroe's chances. They've had a good pre-season. They've had a few injuries, but rather than add to their woes, Sean has decided to roll back the years and play himself, which is good.
Yes, he has.
And you just get that feeling he's totally invested in the club. He's always shown a great hunger for football, and he seems to be recruiting players similar to himself. And he's got the right appetite, and he's looking at players that have got the right appetite, that share the same ambitions as him, which is good to see.
Yeah.
I keep saying we need to get him on the show. We most definitely need to, but as committed as he is to the football club, I think he's a hard man to track down. I love his enthusiasm, and if anyone deserves the success on that basis, then it's him. They've recently had a family fun day. They've sold over 350 season tickets so far as well.
And they just beat Fleetwood Town in the friendly.
Yeah, they beat Fleetwood Town, that I was going to mention. But, so listen, I've said it before, when I walk away from football, I think I might move to the Ribble Valley and get a season ticket there myself. It's, like I say, quintessential non-league football club, in my opinion, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
And I think if you, listen, when I say absolutely love it, it's probably an opportune time to mention Kevin Keegan, of course, who sadly passed away after suffering with cancer. What an absolute legend he was.
Certainly was.
And I've found myself watching a lot of old clips of Kevin Keegan. Obviously, the rant that he had
in '96.
In '96 over Alex Ferguson and what have you, when they got pipped, they look as though they were going to run away with the Premier League, didn't they? And they didn't, unfortunately. But it's just his passion. It was, I'd seen a video before that he was invited to some do, number 10 by Margaret Thatcher, and he said, I respect the fact that she's invited me, but he said, I could never do that. My dad struggled. He worked down the mines, and he wanted to make sure that he didn't. And of course, you know what happened under Margaret Thatcher. The mines got closed down and what have you.
Yes, they did.
So, true man to his working roots as well. And of course, the European Player of the Year twice on the bounce, I think, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I don't think any other English players have ever achieved that, have they?
No, not before or since.
Was that the equivalent of the balloon?
The Ballon d'Or.
Ballon d'Or?
Yeah. It pretty much, it was. Yeah. So.
What a fabulous talent. I mean, short man.
Only
with
5'7"
curly hair. Did you see the? Have you seen the video of the song that he released back in the 70s? I think it was.
No.
Yeah, he had a decent singing voice, to be fair.
All right.
But he was very popular, and of course, if you're back in the day now, if you look at Harry Enfield, the Scousers, the shell suits and the curly perm, that curly perm was based on Kevin Keegan. Everybody in Liverpool went out and got a Kevin Keegan perm.
My God. And it's all come back again, hasn't it? Because everyone now has a curly perm. Yeah, not quite the same.
So God bless his soul. What a fabulous player he was. What a fabulous person as well. Very, very true to his roots.
Yeah. So when I first started getting into football in 2002, Kevin Keegan's obviously manager at Manchester City at the time. One of the first football managers that I ever came across when I used to watch the highlights on TV, and he was always there, talking about how he was really optimistic about making a good go of it with Manchester City. Had a really good positive spell between sort of 2002 and about 2006. I think
people forget though he had a huge gap from ending his playing career before he went into management.
Yeah, so he ended his playing career in about 1984, I think it was, and then he didn't get into management until early 90s, not 92, 93, something like that. So he left a gap of about 8-9 years before getting into it, and obviously went to Newcastle and stormed to second place. And then, had decent spells at Manchester City and then again at Newcastle. So he had a hell of a career on and off the pitch. He had a hell of a lot to be proud of, really. One of kind of football's great icons of the 70s through to now. And, he'll be missed.
There's very few people that, sort of celebrities that make me sort of draw a breath and feel like I'm about to shed a tear or two, and one of them was
Kevin Keegan.
Well, definitely Kevin Keegan, but one of them, I've said it a few times, haven't I? Bobby Ball, the comedian that was on Not Going Out as well. But Kevin Keegan, I shed a tear or two just listening to some of the the old videos and listening to people and what they had to say about him. Just one of the true. I don't know whether we'll have that many true characters of football in the next era. You know, when they've retired and I don't know whether we'll speak about them in the same.
No,
because a lot of the old players had to go out on the sportsman dinner circuit, didn't they? And to earn a little bit more money and what have you. I'm not saying that Kevin Keegan would have been relatively rich back in his day, but I think overall, what was Kevin Keegan worth in this day? You know, if you're selling players, £120 million now, Kevin Keegan's worth 200, isn't he?
Probably
in today's money.
Yeah, back-to-back European Player of the Year. Yeah. Champions League winner multiple times over with Liverpool. God, you'd pay at least 150 for him. Yeah, probably a bit more than
God bless him and his family and his friends. But listen, going back to Clitheroe, and like I say,
we've got optimism for him, haven't they?
Yeah, Freddie Machel. What do you make of that? You mentioned a few times last season.
Yeah, so Freddie Machel had a really impressive campaign at Paddy and was probably one of their key and core players as they ended up getting promoted from the Premier Division of the North West Counties into the Northern Premier League West. I think Clitheroe is a great step for him. I think he was obviously going to get that opportunity with Paddy anyway, but I think getting him into a Clitheroe team where he's naturally going to be surrounded by that experience and that know-how of the Northern Premier League anyway. So his education is going to be far less cutthroat than what it could be.
Odd though that I don't know how old he is now, but he was on loan at Paddy for 2 seasons from Bury, and he's still back out on loan now to Clitheroe. I mean. Yeah. Unless he's work in progress, you wonder why unless he's got a really, really good contract and he just doesn't want to end it himself. You would have thought he's in his last year, if anything.
I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you that. I mean, maybe he is, maybe he isn't. I'm not sure. I think he'd have probably been back at Bury if they hadn't have been promoted this season. If they're still in Northern Prem West this season, I think he goes there and he makes a bit more of a shot of it. Whereas Bury need him to be on a bit more of another level so that they can continue to push at the Northern Premier level. Surrounded by your Bamber Bridges, your Ashton Uniteds, your Warringtons, etc. Yeah. Okay, so I think it's a bit more of a different task, and I think they would have probably look at him as being not quite ready yet. I think he needs some Northern Premier experience, which he's going to get at Clitheroe, obviously, and it's going to be a bit more of a softer introduction than what it was if he was going to be at Paddy, where we're not expecting them to be at Clitheroe's level just yet. We know that they've got a lot of preparation if they're going to stay within the county's Premier, within the counties, the Northern Premier at all. So
the other thing, of course, is that, and I don't know whether he actually played a pre-season friendly for Burscough, but there was a possibility that he was going to sign for Burscough. You imagine if they kept them, Caleb Jones, Elliott Taylor and Freddie Machel as well. That's
if they all got playing together, you might as well just
the league's over by December, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I think there was some whispers about that one. But for him to have gone to Clitheroe, I think it's a smart move. I do. I think it's the right move.
I think it's a great move for Clitheroe, and certainly for Sean McConville. I think Sean McConville's. I'm excited for Sean McConville's team this season.
Yeah, so am I.
We'll probably take a closer look who the movers and shakers might be in the Northern Premier League.
Yeah, probably look at that next week. Yeah. Anyway,
move on to Lower Breck. Manager Gary Moore has been going about his business quietly in many ways. They've announced their 5th signing of the season this week, with Bohan Dixon joining them from Warrington Town. Bohan is 36. He's 6'4". He's a midfielder with bags of experience at every level up to Football League 2 with Accrington Stanley. Also joining is Lucas Wilson. He's an attacking midfielder stroke wide forward. From MSB Walton, Luke Gill. He's a centre forward from So I've got me mixed up there. Sorry, Luke from MSP Walton, Luke Gill.
No. Luke Gill was at Clitheroe last season.
Sorry, from Clitheroe.
Yeah, we saw him.
Sorry, Lucas Wilson's come from MSP Walton. Take the notice.
Lucas Wilson, MSP Walton. Luke Gill has come from Clitheroe.
Yeah. So Will Lawson, centre back, has come from Burscough, and Jack McCall, midfielder, is from Bradford Park Avenue.
Yeah.
Jack is also a player who's had bags of experience at the Football League with over 200 appearances, and he started out his career, believe it or not, at Leicester City. I don't think he ever managed quite to get a first team.
Don't think he broke into the first team, no, but nonetheless, that's 200 Football League appearances just from him. And then you've got Bowen Dixon in there as well. We talked about Gary Moore's team being as one who's probably needing a little bit of a refresh and a transition from last season, even though they finished in the playoffs. I think they've made some really good signings there. Luke Gill, I'm particularly excited for. We watched him last season. I think it was agreed by a lot of the Clitheroe faithful that maybe his talents just weren't quite what they needed, even though he was always the hardest working player on the pitch, and they could really appreciate him for that. Maybe
he's going to still be working in the same division, isn't he?
He is going to be working in the same division, yeah. But, maybe his talents suit Lower Breck style a bit more.
They're Liverpoolians as well, I think, aren't they? I think they've hailed from Liverpool originally, so that might help as well. Listen, Gary Moore is obviously going for a little bit more experience than anything else.
He needs it. Yeah, exactly. He's going to need some kind of, a bit more of an experienced brain in the league. They did make a few signings last season, but I think this season he's just needing a bit more of experience of Northern Premier League.
And you just wouldn't discount them again, would you, to be in them playoffs? Of
course not.
He seems to be doing a fabulous job. He seems to get players motivated,
yeah,
playing for him. And listen, I'm down to get down and watch them at some stage this season, because I think... we
get him an away game at like a good Northern Premier League ground.
Yeah.
That would be
without saying anything, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So Prescott Cables, they've had a few postponements. We mentioned that last week due to the pitch, it would appear. We mentioned them on last week's show when Crew Alexandra decided to call off the game at the 11th hour due to what they described as a concern about their safety. They played at Marina, the Simpson Hub, where they narrowly lost 1-0.
Yep.
They will, however, be entertaining AFC Knowsley tonight. That's why we can't get Dave on the show.
Yep.
So they're back on their own pitches, on their own pitch tonight. Our condolences must go out to the family and friends of former chairman Doug Lace and secretary, who passed away recently. Doug was also involved with Scansdale United as well as a director, and I think I'm right in saying he was also the club secretary at some stage. As he was, like I say, also at Cable. So our condolences to the Prescott, to the family and friends of Doug.
Yeah.
Moving on to Marine Football Club, the third football club in Liverpool, they've said, announces that it is seeking a new investor directors to help push their club forward over the coming years. So in January 2021, Marine famously played Spurs in the FA Cup third round. 40 million people watched. It was the most watched non-league match ever played. Since then, the club has won back-to-back promotions to reach the 6th tier of English football, the highest level in its history. As we know, Jamie Carragher has come on board as an advisor, and a new stadium is in the pipeline.
Yeah, in Thornton, yeah.
But they've not broke the a sort of grass out of the field yet, have they? So we don't know whether that's is still in the pipeline and how soon it will happen. But the club are now looking for business leaders who see the potential for Marine Football Club to continue to grow and who have a desire to play a part in it. There's no fixed blueprint. They recognise that all the interested parties will have different backgrounds and different ways of getting involved. So James Leary, CEO, said, we're looking for new people to become involved in Marine to help drive the club through its next phase of growth. We've set the foundations and are in a great position to continue the build on our successes over the next, over the last decade. Anyone who's serious about getting involved at Marine should get in touch with me directly. What do you make of that?
I don't know, in all honesty. I can appreciate that every club wants to, you know, ask for a bit of a hand to reach the next level of what they perceive to be, you know, their ambition, you know, the next stage of that. I think what's unusual about Marine is the way that they go about it. You know, they're asking for investment directors. They, you know, annually ask for donations towards the player transfer fund or something like that. I'm just wondering, like, why they feel the need to do that.
Is it? I mean, this is the way I look at it from a chairman's perspective. Is there is huge growth potential in Marine? We've seen it. We've seen the gates that they're getting. I think they were averaging around about 1,600 last season, maybe a little bit less. I'm not too sure. So there is great potential there, but to achieve even greater potential, they need to move to Thornton, don't they? Edge Lane, where the proposed stadium is. When we first spoke to James Leary, he said that he was hoping that they'd break soil the following year. So that was not last year, the year before. So it was sort of 18 months, 2 years further on. And we know planning and legal presents huge problems.
It's like walking through treacle, as we well know.
Yeah, but is it managing the beast? Because it's become a beast, and if you don't manage it correctly now, it could just go, it could flatline, or it could just dip so quickly that it goes into oblivion. I think we do know, because we say once you get to your natural level, you're looking at sustainability then.
Yeah, you are.
And I think what this is crying out of with now is that we don't feel comfortable. And listen, I know we know ourselves that if you're going to take that step further, if they finish in the playoffs, if they were to finish in the playoffs this season, the end of this season, and manage to get into the National League, they would have literally maybe 9 months to move to. I'm assuming now you can't have a 3-sided pitch in the National League.
No, I don't believe so.
So you'd have to have a 4-sided pitch. So
you'd really have to accelerate things, wouldn't you?
It's really worrying, because you want to be progressive. If it's a little bit like Prescott last season, isn't it? You pull the budget just before Christmas because you know you're not going to get into the playoffs, or you're struggling with money, sustainability again. So Marine in the same position. If they explode, the gates stay good. But then there's that potential of promotion which could kill them, practically kill them. They've done a fabulous job to get where they are now. It's amazing to think. I always thought Marine was a well-supported club back in the day, 350, 400 supporters, which Skem would have loved to have had when we were competing. And at one stage we were going sort of neck to neck, toe to toe. There wasn't a great deal of difference between the two clubs, but it just shows you how one has just rocketed to huge success. But I can understand why you'd want investment directors, because if you're going to sustain it, you've got to have that investment. If you don't, what's the worst case scenario? You plummet. You could end up in the Liverpool County Premier League if you're not careful.
Yeah, the sponsorship kind of pulls away. Crowds starts to dwindle. Yeah. I get it.
It's a tough job. There's plates that they're spinning there, and I think what they're accepting that they need help. And listen, it's a warning to spectators and supporters, isn't it?
Yeah.
That a football club is only as good as the investment it gets.
Yeah.
And once I've always said that our natural level is where we are now. But if you were to look at us being in Skem and saying where could we sustain football at which level, and if you said National League North, you'd probably be Northern Premier Division, touching on National League North. But beyond that point, I've said you would have to have investment. Yeah. You'd have to change the ownership of the football club. You'd have to get somebody with really huge, deep pockets to invest to take it to the next level. And once you get to that point, you can't rest on your laurels and think, well, my crowds are going to increase to 2,500, and that'll plug the gap, or
That's hoping rather than expecting, isn't it?
So I think they're doing the right thing. I think doing the sort of boost the budget. I think they're good ideas. People buy into it. They want to help the football club. That's great. It's good. It's got a good family feel about Marine. It always has. And I keep saying, have a look at Marine Lives. Just have a look at it, because it's a fantastic program, and it takes you back to the era when they literally didn't have a pot to piss in.
Yeah.
I remember back in the day when we used to have committee meetings, and we used to have to bring the tea bags and the coffee and the biscuits along, because we couldn't afford to pay for it out of the coffers.
Jesus.
Now we've got nowhere to sit down and have it. We have to go to the pub. That's where we're all turning into alcoholics. But listen, I think it's a good, positive move. I think they're thinking ahead, and you can't say it's desperation, but it's reality. It's a reality check, knowing that what they don't want to be accused of is not trying to be a sustainable business.
Yeah.
It is at the moment now, but if it goes any higher, it's got huge pitfalls. Then you could end up plummeting into and ended up into oblivion. Listen, oblivion for them would be to get back into the Northwest Counties. No disrespect to the Northwest Counties, but if they were in the Northwest Counties, that would be the lowest division they've ever been in.
Are you really?
Yeah, they've always been Northern Premier League. Yeah,
interesting.
And above. Yeah, and listen, they only once went below, so they ended up in Northern Premier League West for a period of time, didn't they?
Yeah.
And that was the lowest point that they'd ever played at.
That was just before the Tottenham fixture, wasn't it?
Possibly.
Yeah. It's obviously that would. Well,
listen, we know the money that they made through the Tottenham deal
has
helped get them a plastic pitch and whatever, and it's done wonders for them. So I mean, I can't really argue about the value of a plastic pitch, but that's what it is. And I think they're doing. I think James Leary, he's got his business head on, and I think he's doing the right thing for Marine. Southport. So Neil Dance has been busy making signings, and with Regan Griffiths, midfielder, Kyle James, centre-back, who arrives from Morecambe, Max Davis, a defender who's on loan from Blackburn Rovers, Daniel Aguero, is it?
Aguero,
21, a striker who's been at Manchester City's academy, Solomon Honor, a goalkeeper, and if you look on the on Twitter somewhere, I think there's a compilation of his greatest saves. Looks like a decent keeper by all accounts. So they've also signed Christy Edward from Wigan, and Cameron Ferguson, son of Duncan, who was at Hague Avenue watching his son making his debut at the defeat against Fleetwood Town at the weekend when they lost 1-0. I've got a great feeling about Southport this coming season. I think they're going to be one of the top 10 teams.
I think they're going to. I think they should be. I think
maybe even pushing the playoffs.
Well, yeah, I think the way that Dan's went about his season last season, particularly after Christmas time, really, he sort of set a bit of an expectation of what it is to be a Southport fan and what it is to be Southport Football Club, where I think the natural expectation for a club of that size and with that kind of prosperity, now that they're in, safer hands, since the takeover, they're on a bit more of secure footing. I think it's reasonable to expect them to have good runs in the cup competitions and then be at least top 10 in National League, with, as you say, an eye on the playoffs. I think they could, and I think they should. Just
taking a step back to the Marine, how do you see them doing this season? I think it's going to be difficult for them.
I don't think Marine will finish above Southport this season. No. I think if they do, it'll be brilliant, and I think it'll be down to Bobby Grant's, improvements and capacity as a manager that's probably done that for them. But for me, the way that Southport have kind of gone about it, I think they have much more reason to be optimistic this season than Marine do. It's odd that we were kind of talking about Marine as being kind of that team in oblivion a couple of seasons ago, because Brian Smith posted a throwback to when he was in charge of Burscough in 2017. Obviously, back then they were in the amateur circuit.
Who?
Burscough back in. No, sorry, they were in the
Northwest Counties.
Were they Northwest Counties Premier? at that point,
I think
about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So Southport were there at that point. Southport were county's premier, and
Southport went. Southport have never been as low as counties.
Okay. Are you sure? Because I'm reading this and it says Southport.
No, Southport have never been as low as that.
So Burscough have been as high as Northern Premier then, back then?
Who? Burscough?
Yeah.
Burscough were Conference North once.
Interesting.
Yeah, 1 or 2 seasons.
Anyway, piss that away.
Listen, it's information.
Marine are going to struggle. Southport are going to be good.
It could have been Southport Hesketh. It could have been another team altogether. I don't know. But listen, there was breaking news from Charleston, which I sent you there before.
Yeah, it's...
I'll let you waffle on there because I think I've left the key in the door. Listen, this is the life of a podcaster. Get back in.
Okay, that's fine. So I'll talk to you about Droylsden while he's sort of wandering off doing whatever it is that he needs to do. So anyway, the news what's come out of Droylsden is largely just about the retention of one of their players. It's Emmanuel Omobrugby, who is a very active Twitter user. Often uses his social media platform as a manner in which he can express the total professional direction that he sees his own pathway as a player.
Where did he go last season? Because he left Droylsden, didn't he? So he's coming back.
Are you sure?
I thought he did.
No, he was at. He was there. He was there last season. When they went up.
All right, because it says welcome back, so he said good to be back.
Interesting.
So I think he left for a short period of time, didn't he?
If you say so. I didn't think that he had. I think he's just re-signed because he was there for plenty of last season, and he's there being involved in the celebrations after they beat McGull. So I just wonder whether it's he's either contracted there or he's signed signed on the dotted line again, but he's staying there again. He's amassed a decent following for a player at this level, just over 1,400 followers, which isn't terrible by any stretch of the imagination. Brief spell at Wythenshawe Town in 2023, but he remains a blood.
Yeah, brilliant. So listen, we'll move on to the let's move on to the Liverpool County Premier League.
Okay.
So only a couple of results here. Camberheads beat Nalgo 2-0 at the weekend, and Waterloo Dock beat FC Bootle. We expect Waterloo Dock to be pretty decent outfit this season. Towards the end of last season, they showed great promise.
Yeah, they did. I mean, we beat them by it was either 2 or 3 goals to 0 at the Marine Travel Arena, but they'd beaten us 3-0 prior to that. I think they'd shown a strong end to the season, as you'd said, and so they seem to be starting out quite strong. FC Bootle, who play in the West Cheshire League, finished 3rd last season, which is not to be sniffed at. So if that's anything how Waterloo Dock are going to go by, this is going to be a good season for them, and a pretty big one at that.
And City of Liverpool, who will be joining our league this season, they've advertised for a new manager. Better late than never, I say. It seems to be a bit odd, really. They've left it this long before they've.
It depends how long they knew that the departure was coming. So the last that we'd heard, it was Kevin Manning in charge in the hot seat.
Peter?
It's Paul's brother.
Yeah, Peter Manning. Unless there's another Manning. But listen, it doesn't matter.
The
point I'm making is that obviously we know that they're in the Liverpool County Prem next season. We know where they're playing, but we didn't know a great deal about whether they'd retained the outgoing the manager that came out of the Northwest Counties. Who was managing them at the end of the season?
It was Richard Brodie was there briefly,
was
wasn't it? But there was somebody after that, wasn't there?
Yeah, I thought it was his number 2 at the time, but I don't know. But listen, what I'm saying to you is it seems to be a bit late in the day. But who knows what goes on?
Yeah, it's a bit worrisome for them if they're starting the season without a manager, or at least an accredited manager, if you like. There's been very little news coming out of City of Liverpool at all. There was no announcement of where they were playing this season. Anything like that has come through the official Liverpool Premier League channels. So you kind of have to wonder if the social media has kind of just been put on the back burner, unless to advertise for absolutely essential pieces of information or requests.
Yeah, we're hoping to, like I said at the beginning of the show, they get a little bit more info on the Liverpool County Prem so we can involve the clubs a little bit more. So it's up to you out there as well, if you're listening, to get involved as well and give us a little bit of foresight and a little bit of information. So just looking briefly at the fixtures that affect us in the Liverpool County Prem, obviously tomorrow night we play Ashton Athletic at Ashton.
At Rocksteeds Park.
Rocksteeds Park, 7:45 kick-off. On Saturday, FC Kirby host River. That's a 2 o'clock kick-off. Just running quickly through the results that we managed to find over the weekend. Abbey Hay beat...
no, they didn't.
Sorry, they lost to Mosley 5-1. AFC Knowsley lost 2-0 to Remaker. Avro beats Halifax 4-3, decent result.
That's a very good result.
Bacup lost to Atherton and R 2-0. Bamber Bridge lost to Morecambe 3-0. Charnock beat Lancaster 4-2, good win. Daisy Hill beat, they lost to Bolton Wanderers B team, that was 2-1. Exton lost to Ashton United 2-0. FC United lost to Salford 4-1. Hesketh Bank, we mentioned before, they lost to Burscough 5-0. Newcastle Town beat West Didsbury 2-0. Padiham beat Flixton 3-2. Runcorn Linnets versus Marine. I can't remember what was the result of that.
Not a clue.
No. Stalybridge lost to Hyde 3-1. Trafford beat Warrington Rowlands 2-0. And Winstanley Warriors battered Widnes Town 6-2. What do you make of that?
I think that means that Widnes Town are probably going to struggle a little bit more than what we thought that they might do when they, came back into the northwest counties to a bit more of a fanfare. But it seems like it's not all gone their own way, and I wonder whether they actually have the budget that we thought that they might do, or whether they're relying on the Black Book of Paul McNally to assemble a squad for this season.
You think a bit of an aging team there as well, maybe?
Not necessarily an Asian
There's a mixture of youth there.
Exactly, yes. So there was a few Scam old boys in the squad for that game, none of whom were under the age of 20.
Michael Grogan's one of them. I think he's the captain, isn't he? He must be getting on now. And
obviously we've got the other end of the scale where, Michael Grogan is about 37, I think he is, give or take. I think they have one or two really good players in there that will show up for them this season, but I think they're going to need a hell of a lot more than that if they're going to sustain themselves in the counties. Division 1 South.
It's got to be a really huge task for Paul McNally to get people to buy into it.
Again,
and like you say, if they've got a decent budget, then it's easier to attract players. The difference. Listen, what we do know is that he built a team, or he was part of a rebuild at Scam, and managed to get them out of the counties.
And at City of Liverpool, although they were in the northern.
They had a huge budget at the time, didn't they? Until the backside fell out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
But it gives you the impression that they're going to struggle a little bit more than we actually first thought.
Yeah, maybe they are. So, yes. Just before we move on to controversial corner, because you didn't ask me what my opinion was on what shirts I would wear on a Tuesday night down at the JMO if I was playing football, or buy a pint and a pin badge.
Why are you planning to go and play at the JMO?
No, I'm not planning to play at the JMO. I am planning to play in the local village.
Is there a touch of sarcasm attached to this?
Slightly.
Yeah,
because you didn't ask. You went off on the tangent
you've already told me that you were thinking of getting
a Pilk shirt.
A Pilk shirt.
Yeah, but then we moved on to the question: which non-league sides have
shirts would you wear?
Well, yeah, exactly. It's which non-league sides have you a soft spot for? Obviously, there's the ones that we've already been established. So, Clitheroe 1, Little and Remaker, Of course, we've got a soft spot for Lytham.
Yeah, I'm not talking about
frown at me.
I thought you were talking about a kit.
You buy a kit for a team you've got a soft spot for.
Oh, okay.
You don't buy a kit for a team who you've got no affiliation to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why would you buy a kit for bloody Bamber Bridge? We have no affiliation with them.
That's another nice ground, by the way.
I've walked past it a couple of times, the Tom Finney Stadium. Yeah. It looks really nice. It's tucked away. I mean, parking's a bugger.
I went there years ago when Nigel Clough was manager of Burton Albion.
Yeah.
And they were going for the league at the time.
Yeah, they were. That was Conference Premier, wasn't it, back then?
Yeah. I watched the game. It was heaving. There must have been about 2,000 people on there, or maybe even more than that. And from this day to now, I don't know, but I got told that the fella in the flat cap that was behind me in the duffel coat,
there's always one,
was Brian Clough.
Amazing.
Move aside, son. Move aside. I can't see. You're too tall for me, son. Move aside. You're blocking me view.
Well, that would have been ages ago.
Does that sound like Brian Clough?
No.
You're blocking me view.
Maybe a little bit.
You're a naughty boy. I'll give you the slap in a minute. And he's done that, didn't he? What a character that was, anyway.
Yeah. But that would have been quite a while ago. He's been dead 20 years.
Yeah, well, it was about 20 plus years ago, yeah.
Exactly. Bonkers, that. Yeah. But yeah, Remy, Clitheroe, Burscough. So obviously we've got a soft spot for Burscough. And Atherton LR.
Well, talking about Burscough, we're talking about quintessential grounds. I loved Victoria Park.
Ah, yeah, the old Burscough ground.
It's growing on me, the new ground now.
Yeah.
Because I love the clubhouse and I love the veranda.
And I know that
I think it's got potential to build it into something.
Yeah, of course they do.
You know, it needs probably a stand at the. I know it's got one stand at the back of the goal, but it needs a stand where you can stand
a proper stand.
You know, something that you can echo off, and that eventually will come. And I think that far side where the dugouts, there needs to be.
They'll have something there eventually, won't they?
Yeah, they're working hard.
So yeah, Jay, if you're listening to this, if there's any Burscough shirts that are kind of kicking around that you've got no use for, maybe from like a couple of seasons ago, let me know. I'm happy to pay up to £5 for them.
You want the catch?
I'm going to pay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're going to wear a... Listen, you do realise if you ever wear the Burscough shirt, there's people out there that'll shoot you.
Is there really, though?
Yeah.
I don't think we've got that kind of vehement support at Skeb just yet.
I don't know. Listen, I know one or two hitmen already at Skeb that they're waxing down the pistols as we speak.
All right, I'm frigging out. I still wear one. They're not our rivals, really, are they? Not anymore. Yeah. Not yet. Eventually, we'll get back to it. But right now, I think it's safe to.
Listen, when I start up the walking football team, I might swap shirts at the end of the game.
There you go.
When we win the cup.
So if anyone from Remy, Burscough, Clitheroe, or LR,
Buxton's another lovely place to go as well.
Is it? Yeah. I think my mate plays for Glossop North End, so if he's got a spare goalie shirt.
I love going to Glossop as well, I've got to say. Glossop North End.
So I've really been into this particular YouTuber called Non-League Review, and he goes round like all these different...
everybody off?
No, he goes round all the different grounds. Yeah, he's a really good guy, actually, really enjoy it. Goes around loads of different grounds, makes a YouTube video about them in his quest to buy or find a pie, a pint and a pin badge. Okay, and then he tells you like how much entry fee is and what the ground looks like with all the history and things like that, and it's brilliant to watch. It's so interesting because it'll only last you a couple of minutes at a time, but it's great. I've thoroughly enjoyed watching them. So there's like loads of grounds that I really want to see and stuff.
Yeah, well, this one I'm going to take you to a few. Which one did I say I was going to take you to? New Mills.
New Mills is one. I think Ramy was another one that we talked about as well.
Yeah, you need to go to... Oh, Ramy. I love Ramy.
I
have fond memories there because James was in a rehabilitation centre up the road from Ramy, so I spent a lot of time in Ramsbottom. I used to go and watch the games there.
Yeah, my dentist is in Ramsbottom, so we know it for different reasons. Anyway, controversial corner.
Yeah, moving on to Flixton Football Club. Big spenders. Flixton lost 3-2 to Paddyman at the weekend. No shame in that at all. In fact, they've run the Northern Premier League newcomers really close. But on a budget of £6,000 a week, the expectation is absolutely humongous. The rumour is that both, like I said at the head of the show there, Benito, Lowe and Lewis Byrne are on at least £450 a week each. I mean, we did hear originally that it was Lewis Byrne was on 600. I've absolutely no axe to grind at all, because if you got it and you want to progress quickly, then you've got to spend big. But at step 6, we kind of expect it to be more of a level playing field. We've said this before. It clearly isn't. But how much impact is this having on football clubs in general? And can we say it's part of the reason why some clubs, like we mentioned last week, are going to the wall?
I think it really depends on how much money their US-based investor wants to invest in Flixton. He's obviously spent a hell of a lot of money in renovating the ground, because Mr. Non-League Review from YouTube went there on one of their opening nights, and kind of took us for a tour around it. It looks amazing. It really does. It's a beautiful looking modern ground. So then with a budget of £6,000 a week, he's obviously pouring an awful lot of money in right now. My question is, how sustainable is that going to be when he gets bored and pulls it out? You know, have they built enough bridges with the community?
So he's an American financier, isn't he? As far as we know, we believe he's allegedly put £5 million in there straight away. Yeah. The clubhouse, they've done wonders on that, and they've made it look really, really great.
Well, the stadium as a whole has undergone an awful lot of work.
They've managed to get the local community to buy into it as well, which you would, because you think to yourself, wow, this could be big.
Yeah, I think
could this be another Salford?
Well, yeah, I think there was about 300 people that turned up on opening night, if you like. Yeah. I think.
How many is it really considered the investment?
Well, no, but it's a friendly, so you're likely to get more during actual season actuals, really, aren't you?
Fair comment.
Yeah,
I think what I was alluding to is the fact that a lot of clubs that seeing Flixton join that league, those that you would have thought were favourites to win the title. Yeah. So they Division 1 North, are they?
They are Division 1 North.
Division 1 North, which doesn't make sense really. Flixton Division 1 North, Widnes Division 1
Well, South. Flixton is Manchester based, and Widnes is kind of Liverpool based, isn't it? And it's ironic that, considering that Asheville are now in Division 1 North, but Widnes, despite being in roughly the same vicinity, Division 1 South. Yeah, go figure.
Yeah, so what I'm saying to you is that I think those clubs in Division 1 North, the likes of the Darwins and even Thornton Cleveleys now, if you throw them into the equation, all those teams in Division 1 North now who are vying for promotion last season.
It's a hell of a battle, isn't it?
It's a huge battle.
Yeah.
MSB Walton, they did well, did they?
Maghull
made it to the final. It's a bit like it reminds me of Skem when they had the likes of FC United and AFC Halifax and AFC Fylde and all the Chester, joining the league, and you're thinking to yourself, bloody hell, we were running everybody close, and then all of a sudden the big boys come in, and then, listen, what I do know is that we ran Chester very close, and it was only for one goal we'd have been promoted, so their £15,000 budget compared to our £1,700. Yeah. So it can be done. It
can be done, but it's super rare. It takes a genius on the ground to be able to do it. Who was the manager at the time when this happened?
Tommy Lawson.
There you go. Yeah. A genius on the ground.
Yeah. So like I say, no axe to grind with them. They make the league interesting.
Yeah, I think with their budget, it won't make them a level playing field until we see them actually in action. We know that they brought in a lot of players down on big budgets. Leon Creech was one of them. He signed from Clitheroe, so he's dropped two leagues to go and play at Flixton. So you would imagine that they're going to be up there.
But you know what? If you blow £900 on two players, your £6,000 a week budget's not that big, is it?
No, not necessarily. I should imagine there'll be two of the higher earners. You'll probably get some decent ones in there who'll be on a fair bit less.
Well, listen, you can attract players for £250 there that will happily drop down from the Northern Premier League.
Of course,
the problem you've got in modern football, non-league football now, is a lot of managers tell lies. They tell lies about the budgets. If they were more honest with each other, and they're scared of being honest with each other because they're scared of being gazumped, I think there's a lot of players in the Northern Premier League that are on 150 or even less than £150 a week. So if somebody offers them 250 to drop down a couple of levels, they're going to do it. You know, we heard the rumour about one particular player that dropped down and was getting paid, what was it, £350, £400 last season and the season before. Players will come down if the money's available.
Yeah, they will.
But you know what? There's got to be there's got to be there's got to be a kick on. There's got to be an improvement. There's got to be an end product, and that is down to your management then ultimately.
I also think that teams like that are walking a bit of a high wire when all the money is coming from one source. I think we're probably not in the same boat, but I know that, you know, we've got a couple of sponsors who are, you know, amazing benefactors for us, and we've had some in the past. Whereas if all your money source is coming from one person, you know, you've either got to do everything to please him or just hope to God that he doesn't lose interest.
You're always walking on a precipice all the time, because you don't know the minute they. And we know from Cone Dynamos as they were back in the day when they won back-to-back titles, and you know I think it was a planning application that didn't go through or something, and the multi-millionaire pulled his money then. Same thing with Gretna Green. You know, they had that meteoric rise up to they won the Scottish Cup, didn't they?
Yeah, something like that.
You know, that they ended up in the Premier Division, and then the chairman then. The investor pulled his money and they can plummet back down. It's all about sustainability, and
it's a high wire.
I think if you try to achieve far too much, far more than you're capable of, then you're never going to achieve sustainability at any level, because you just come plummeting back down, and then you have to start all over again. Sometimes being a big fish in a small pond is better than being a small fish in a huge pond, and I think we've mentioned clubs today that are in that position. But anyway, listen, moving on to Walthamstow FC, they've regrettably parted company with first team manager Gifton Noel Williams. We appreciate there's been a lack of stability around the first team management position, but we've acted decisively to ensure we can be prepared for the start of the season on the 8th of August and for a settled and successful future. So he'd gone before he even started, hadn't he?
Yes, he has. Yeah, lasted all of a handful of days.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure if he'd taken training at this point.
Listen, I can't be hypercritical on this, because we know there's always
to be a reason.
Yeah, there's always mitigating circumstances, and listen, there'll be a reason why he's gone. I don't know whether he's mentioned anything, and I don't know whether anybody's come back on it. But listen, if he didn't start and he's already finished, I don't think it'll make a great deal of difference to the club. It won't help.
No.
You know, because we're talking about the 8th of August, a couple of weeks away.
Yeah, about 3, I think. Yeah.
Moving on to something more contentious, Real, or Rail, whatever you want to call them, Aston Cubs football. This story is about a kids' tournament where the people running the football club felt there was an injustice as the referee disallowed 2 penalty saves because he felt that the keeper was off his line. There is a video of one of the penalties. It's not clear if the keeper is off his line. I don't know whether you've seen it, but it certainly does look as though he is on his line.
Right.
One of the videos was put online, like I said, despite pleas for it to be taken down due to safeguarding issues. I think it's still available to watch on Facebook. There's other accusations, including alleged racism. The club in question has stated that it won't enter the competition ever again, and they've even refused to collect their runners-up medals. Ooh. Is this a case of should have been dealt with internally, or do you believe they've handled this correctly?
Should have been dealt with internally, to be honest. From what I've heard about the club in question that hosted it, which is a club called Broadway FC, everybody else loves the tournament that they put together during the summer months. The club in question are in good standing within the community. There's never really been any question beforehand that there has been an issue.
Well, this is a refereeing problem. It's not people that are running the tournament, is it?
No, but I think the referee was from Broadway. Himself. Yeah, I think he was a manager or somebody connected with the club rather than an actual league official, which again is why there's a bit more contention to it. But I think for Real Aston to have kind of thrown their toys out of the pram like this, I think is very silly.
And there is a safeguarding issue there.
Yeah.
Their argument is that it came from one of the mothers of or one of the parents of one of the children, so therefore they'd put it up online, and there's no safeguarding issue. Still think there is. I don't think there's any need for it.
No.
I think they've handled it the wrong way.
Yes.
And I think this is a case of where you should give it a little bit of time before you react.
Yes.
Don't react in the heat of the moment. Wait a few days.
Yeah.
Speak to people.
Yeah.
Take advice.
Yeah.
Calm down. Take a chill pill.
The thing is, it's a tournament. Not only is it a tournament, but it embroils the kids into this, and you know they are without medals. That
they've earned.
They've earned those medals by being runners up. Yeah, maybe the accusation of cheating is correct, and maybe these kids should have won the trophy. But regardless, I haven't got any runners-up medals from as a kid. I haven't got any trophies that I won as a kid other than man of the match ones. And I loved it when I got one. And I think you've taken this away from those kids to make a point without really having much of a leg to stand on. Yeah, you could. Yeah, maybe if there was cheating, you go to Broadway FC, you sort it out internally. They've blown this up completely out of proportion, wrecked it for the kids, and attempted to hijack a club that seems to have good standing within the community and good honest morals.
And I'm going to skip season tickets and fake kits. I'll come back to them in a minute because I think it sort of dovetails well here. Sort of young supporters are starting to cause more mayhem in non-league football, posing the question, should under-16s be accompanied by a responsible adult? Now, I think Rolleston have reinstated their under-16s, haven't they?
Yeah, they have
but
their policy.
Club I can't remember which club it is now that they banned under-16s now unless accompanied by a responsible adult.
Yeah. I can't remember the other club what has done it. Unfortunately, I think it is one that's kind of localised within our area, but I'm not 100% which one. I
remember years ago when Skem first got back to the JMO, there was a question over some of the young supporters, them being too vocalised and causing mayhem, talking to the adults in a derogatory manner and having a pop at the linesmen and the referees all the time.
Yeah.
And I think kids can overstep the mark. We've seen it at Burscough. We had a young set of supporters at the back of the goal that was saying derogatory things about a former manager.
Yeah.
Those kind of things. And there's no place for it in football at all, whether it's racist or otherwise. And I'm not suggesting this is down to racism at all, but obviously this other club has decided now it's easier to ban under-16s than it is to allow them to come to the ground.
Yeah, it is. I'm trying to look for which club.
Well, whilst you're looking at, I will mention season tickets, because you know what? It's just a thought that came across me today. Are non-league season tickets? Non-league season tickets good value for money, or are clubs inching their prices higher than necessary? So there was a time when we used to say to ourselves that, wow, this is really good. I remember you could get a season ticket for Wigan Athletic for about £140 when they were in the Premier League, which was an absolute steal compared to everybody. And I remember getting a season ticket one year just to watch the 5 or 6 top games like Man United, Everton, Liverpool, just so I could watch them, because it got me money back just on that paying £140. I think because they've not inched away, the Premier League clubs have not inched away, they've actually run away with prices.
Yes, they have.
And because they've run away with prices now, I think non-league football clubs now are inching themselves higher up than they should, because because we mentioned it before, they're trying to cover
the gap.
Yeah,
because they feel like Premier League football is kind of setting a precedent for what is appropriate to charge for a season ticket or standard entry. So I think for Man City and Man United, you're looking at towards about the £700 or £800 mark for a season ticket. And what are we saying for?
I think Chelsea and Arsenal 2000 is it?
Yeah, something
like
ludicrous like that from the capital. Whereas non-league, like, do we know what non-league season
Well,
tickets are kind of costing?
I don't want to name names because I don't want to put people off watching non-league football.
Okay.
But I noticed a couple of clubs in particular, even at the level that they are at.
Yeah.
If you're in the top 20 pop records and you're number one, then you expect more money because you're selling more records.
Yeah.
If you're 20th in the top 20, you're not going to get as much. You're not going to get as much money.
I suppose.
We have this argument about whether women should be paid the same as the male counterpart in football and tennis. They are in tennis now, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
But in a lot of sports, they're not equally paid. Now, from a marketing perspective, if you are a football club or a football player who's hugely marketable, then you name your own price. And I just wonder that even when you're in the same league, if you're in the same league and you're never really going to be you're not going to be top 10 and you're certainly not going to be vying for a playoff position. Should you be charging the same as those teams? Let's go National League North, for instance.
Okay.
I know everybody's trying to keep up with the Joneses, but there's about 7 or 8 former Football League clubs in the National League North, is there? I'm pretty sure there's not far off that, is there? Kidderminster
Give or take, yes.
And all them lot. Hereford and clubs like that.
Yeah.
So if you're a club in the bottom half that's not ever going to particularly do well, are you justified in charging the same as a club that has got greater potential?
No, I don't think so. No. I think it's sort of quite monstrously unfair to charge you know, kind of the same kind of money.
If you were watching Southport, if you went to watch Southport on Saturday and they were playing the first league game against Hereford, and I'm not saying you can't grade the games. So if you're playing one of the elite teams in that league, you bump your prices up for that, and then you drop it down for. So you do have graded football matches in some scenarios. But what I'm saying is, if you're going to watch Southport play, let's say, who should we say?
Peterborough Sports?
Peterborough Sports. Yeah, how much are you willing to pay to go and watch them on a Saturday afternoon, on a February cold afternoon? And I'm not picking Southport out, by the way. I'm not naming.
No, this is just as an example, isn't it? Really, I'd probably pay for National League North. I'd probably pay no more than about 20-25 quid. See,
this is where you and I differ. So if I'm going to watch non-league football now, right up to the National League North, I wouldn't pay, or I would pay, but I wouldn't be comfortable paying any more than £15. Right. I think £20 is excessive to go and watch a non-league football club at that level.
So £15 is probably standard entry for teams that are in the Northern Premier League.
I don't know. I think maybe £12.
I think we paid £12 at Clitheroe, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, against
£12 might be a standard, but if you go, and I don't know. Listen, look, I'm not going to name names, but while we're talking now, just look at what it costs for a home game ticket for the team in the National League North.
Okay.
Without naming names,
all right.
Let's have a look at it, and I'm pretty sure that. Probably around about that level.
Okay.
But I wouldn't. I don't think it. I don't think it'd pay over £20, or I wouldn't be comfortable paying over £20. I'd start to believe that would be daylight robbery, because even then, when you go and buy the food now and the coffees and teas, it can add up. And if you're taking children with you, it really does. It's an expensive day out going watching non-league football now.
Yeah.
You imagine if we'd have been. 2 parents with 2 children going to watch Clitheroe last season. Okay, it's a relatively good, decent. I'm not saying cheap day out, because it's not a cheap day out, but it's a comfortable day out. Once you pile that food on top of it, you're talking about in excess of £40, aren't you, for a day out for the kids?
Yeah, that's.
And that's without even getting maybe programmes or. You want to buy a scarf or a badge or a programme.
Oh, I know. And the scarves, get them about £15. Then you've got a pin badge, which could be up to about £5, and then a programme that's about £3. So you're looking at about £20-25 there just in the nice stuff. Sorry, I'm just.
It's okay.
Because we're in the off season at the minute, so it's a lot more.
What dovetails into this really well is because you picked up on a subject about fake kits, didn't you?
I did.
And what I'd say to you, it dovetails really well here because people now are more likely to buy a fake kit. I mean, the amount of the amount of England kits that were bought through fake.
I'm just going to stop
sites.
you there.
Go on, yeah.
So I found a subscription service to a team that are in the National League North. Okay, for an adult, for a season ticket, the standing is £97 a month.
£97 a month? No, that can't be right, can it?
I really feel like it is at this point because it's a subscription. And prices are charged monthly.
Is that like a membership, though? You get all kinds of programmes and
I would certainly hope so.
You get news updates before everybody else. That might be the case with that. I don't know, but what I'm saying to you is that if you look at replica kits now, even at non-league football level, they're expensive, aren't they?
They're about £25 for a shirt.
You can pay as much as £35-40.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at a particular team within the Northwest Counties. Just on their shirts.
I have to say in defence of though non-league football clubs, because they can't buy them in bulk like Premier League clubs can.
Yeah.
Premier League clubs get them at such really huge discounts and still pop them out at huge prices.
Ludicrous, isn't
Whereas sometimes when people turn around and say, "Oh, you're charging £25 for a shirt," you must be making a few bob on that. You're lucky if you're making £2 or £3 on a top.
Yeah, so this particular club, they're charging £40 for a home jersey, which I think has carried over for the last couple of seasons. But it's £40 for the adult. Yeah, and it's not like it's being made by Nike or Adidas or something like that. It's a bit more of a provincial provider.
That's Northwest Counties, that though, isn't it?
And that's Northwest Counties. Yeah. That's abhorrent. And I get it, because as you say, they're not bulk buying, so each one is a bit more of a one-off cost, isn't it? Yeah. And obviously things that are that are one-off cost are, per item a bit more expensive than if you buy them in bulk. So there's a bit less room. There's less room for error in terms of profit. Yeah.
So when you were highlighting fake kits, what was your issue with it?
My issue with this is that large organisations such as the FA and professional teams are, screaming why nobody is buying a kit from the actual replica sites, such as the club shop or even Sports Direct or JD or something like that, and instead they're going to the foreign market to buy their fake shirts from overseas. Well, number one, as we know, football at the professional level is getting increasingly away from the working class roots that it started with. And you've now got clubs that are charging anywhere between £75 and £90 for a replica shirt, and they are automatically going to gain most of that profit. Okay, whereas a fake jersey will cost £20, 25, including
even less.
Even less. Maybe I've seen some that will charge about 14.
And that doesn't look at you. I think £12 I've heard.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's not much difference in quality.
And I've bought a fake shirt, and it's lasted me.
No customs and revenue, nothing.
It was about 3 or 4 years. No, I ordered it in from overseas, and it came via mail, so they would have looked at that anyway. And
so you've not paid tax.
But it's
you've not paid tax on your import.
It's not up to me.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Listen, you can understand why people are buying the fake kits.
Of course you would, because there's a whole heap of difference between 12 quid and 90 quid for a shirt that looks exactly the same.
But they're still making vast amounts of
Yeah,
profits,
they'll be making vast amounts of profit in the other funding.
You can't tell me that the FA have struggled because of fake kits. They've still made a bloody fortune.
Of course, they've made a fortune. They've made a fortune on all the pitches that they've licensed, that they've then let out. They've made a fortune on all the subscriptions that have had to be paid for clubs and for players.
We're part of the problem, though, aren't we? We're the consumers, and we're willing to pay that, or there is people willing to pay it. They're forced into it. We talked about kids football and the way they've hiked up the subs and the charges to be involved and the gear that you need to buy.
It's profit,
as well. It's all profit. We are in a big. It's even gone down to that level now where people are. When will it be? When will the day come when people are buying fake scam shirts? No, seriously. I mean, it makes you wonder whether there'll be a market for. I'm not saying there would be a market for scam, but certainly the likes of maybe your Morecambes. If your Morecambes get back into the football league, your Southport, so them League 2 clubs, it could start. I mean, I don't know whether there is fake replica kits that low. It normally tends to be the bigger market, which is the Premier League, and of course the foreign, the German. We bought a lot of German, Spanish kits and things like that back in the day for the kids. From abroad.
It's just easier, isn't it?
Listen, when you've got 4 kids, and you're trying to please all of them at the same time. It needs must.
It's really difficult.
Listen, we're not going to go on to the funny bits until the very, very end. So what I've come up with a sort of compilation of funny bits.
Right, hang on.
I thought we'd.
I'm just going to go back to the season ticket. Yeah. I think it's £97.86, but in 4 instalments. So you're looking at about 350 quid there for the. For a season ticket.
National League North.
In the National League North as a seated adult.
Right, we know it's a big league, don't we? So we know there's 46 games in, so 23 home games. So divide that by...
23 divided by 400.
Yeah, and that's a season ticket. If you're paying on the gate, it's going to be more, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So 400 divided by 23. £17.40.
Yeah, so you're looking at getting very close to 20 now on the gate.
Yeah.
If you're getting a discount on your season ticket, then...
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, listen, I'll go on to the fixtures. I'm going to just run through the fixtures really, really quick. Tonight, Denton are playing Abbey Hay, Prescott Cables are playing AFC Knowsley, Shawbury United playing Church Stretton Town. Tomorrow night, Ashton Athletic versus Skem, Atherton LR versus Ashton Town, Ramsbottom versus Padiham. Interesting game there at the Harry Williams Riverside Stadium. So Saturday, some of these are wrong, by the way, you just don't have the time to update them. But this has come off the North West Counties website. So AFC Blackpool are at home to Morecambe, AFC Bridgnorth are at home to Market Drayton Town, Ashton Town hosting Annan Athletic. It's a strange one. The Scottish team coming to Ashton Athletic. I wonder what that's for. Yep. And we will have breaking news in a minute, but let me just barge through these quickly. So Barnoldswick Town versus Darwen, Barnton Litherland, Bilston Town sporting Calcer, Camelairds versus South Liverpool, Chadderton Bacup, Cheadle Heath Nomads, Withenshaw Town, Cheadle Town versus Droylsden, Crewe versus Denton, Daisy Hill versus Hinsford, Dawley Town versus Warstones Wanderers, Droylsden Cheadle Town, Eccleshall at home to Chase Town, FC Dalston at home to Brereton Social. I don't know.
Brereton Social.
Brereton sounds Yorkshire. FC St Helens versus Sandbach, Flixton versus Runcorn Town, Folymere versus Redgate Clayton, Garstang versus Exton Villa, Halewood Apollo against Widnes. Interesting one that. I'll be keeping an eye on that one. Heswell versus AFC Liverpool. Knowsley, correction. Holker Old Boys versus Charnock Richard, Hollywell Town versus Prestwich Hayes, McGull versus Utoxeter Town, Mould versus Asheville has been postponed, Nelson versus Sutton, New Mills versus Stratford. Silsden White Star versus Streeton. I didn't know there was more than one team in Silsden, or maybe they've changed the name, I don't know. Squiresgate versus Nantwich. Stafford versus Cradley Town. Stoneold Olwyans versus Shawbury United. Storport Swifts versus Telford Down. Thornton Cleveleys versus Earlham. Tottington United versus Burscough. Interesting one, that.
Crazy.
Wensford Community versus AFC Wolverhampton City. Winsford United versus Burscough. They can't be putting two squads out on the same day again, can they?
Oh, they might do.
Winstanley Warriors versus Alsage. Wolverhampton Casuals versus Newcastle Town. Monday, Trafford versus Bury at Shawview. Tuesday, Aston Athletic versus Padiham. Bolhall Swifts versus Brereton Social. Burscough versus Bootle. Heswell versus Ashville. Earlham versus Curzon Ashton. New Mills versus Bollington Town. Prescott Cables versus Widnesford Town. Ramsbottom United versus Bamber Bridge. Shawbury versus Shrewsbury UP and Cummers versus Telford Town. Tividale versus Bilston Town. Trafford versus Chorley. Wensford Community versus Walsall Wood. Wednesday, Chasetown Reserves versus Dorley Town. And on Thursday next week, Cheadle Heath Nomads entertain FC United of Manchester, expecting a big gate with that. So they're the pre-season friendlies at the weekend if you want to go and watch any of those there. But listen, do check up on social media to see whether the half of these are going ahead. There's been an awful lot of postponements, hasn't there? I'm assuming down to the dry weather and the pitch has been in a particularly bad state.
Yeah.
So AJ, breaking news.
Yeah, so the breaking news is that Woking Football Club can confirm that the club and first team manager Jermaine Defoe have mutually agreed to part ways with immediate effect. They've released a short statement which says to that effect, we'd like to place on record our sincere thanks to Jermaine for his contribution during his time at Woking, and we wish him every success in the future. The club remains fully focused on delivering its objectives both on and off the pitch. We would like to thank our supporters for their continued support. Bit of a gift to Noel Williams, that one, isn't it?
Yeah, well, we spoke about this, I think, when it was breaking news when he arrived at the football club. We assumed that he might have been putting a bit of money in there, so we don't really know what's gone on there. But listen, just proves that you can be the highest level of elite football, and then try to manage it at a much lower level, and it doesn't work. There's been that many managers that have tried that before.
We know them personally. Yeah, we do. I feel like it must be like a direction thing about where Jermaine wants to go, like and implement the club, and the club are sort of probably wanting to go in a bit of a different direction with it, although why this wasn't illustrated like during the interview process, I'm not sure. It doesn't look great when a manager's gone after a couple of weeks, few months without really.
It's not like the other story before, wasn't it, where the manager's been sacked before he's even played a game.
I know.
But listen, it's not great news. It's breaking news, but it's not.
It's
great
not
news.
It's not one of the big controversial stories that we were all hoping for, but nonetheless, there it is.
We'll move on. Let's talk about Skem briefly. Defeat in our next match. We played Appley Bridge on Tuesday night. Played relatively two different teams, two different sides in the first and second half, but beaten in both halves convincingly.
Yeah. So it was a 5-0 defeat. When we were 3-0 down in the first half, and then beaten sort of 2-0 in the second half, and it was an inherently frustrating evening for us in an environment where I genuinely thought that we could win, and that's no disrespect to Appley Bridge, but I just thought with the spine of the squad that we've retained from last season, we brought in some players who I thought were going to be, get us on the front foot early on in the season and just gel with the spine that we've created, and it just fell apart within the first couple of minutes, really.
what I mentioned to Barney was, and I think we said it, we were in the Britannia in up Holland having our sort of post-match analysis, if you like, and I think we all agreed it was disappointing and a complete comparison to what the Pilton victory was. But what I've said is fundamentally is that we are struggling to recycle the football. We don't do it as well as other teams. Now, the difference between Pilton when we won is we're high intensity, energy. We were closing people down all the time. So equally, they still recycle the ball better. But when we did actually get it back, when we made that change and we put two up front, we won the game off the basis of changing that when legs were tied, because it was a tight game. I think the same thing happened on Tuesday night. Is that we had a decent enough squad, but the intensity wasn't there.
No, it wasn't. No, they were allowed a lot of time on the ball to kind of move it about here or there.
But we weren't recycling the ball again, so we're doing the same thing as we did, and yet we're getting taught in training, this is how you recycle the football. When you lose possession, you get it back and you
go again.
Well, listen, we tried passing it on a very bubbly pitch. We know that. We tried wing play, which very wide pitch. It was difficult then. Maybe we should be playing it over the top more or through the channels. I don't know. We've argued the toss all over that. Did we have the correct personnel to pull it off if we did it that way? I don't know. It was a very narrow pitch, and I just felt as though their back four, they didn't have to shift much to cover the wingers. So when the balls were played, we were like, they were there.
Yeah, near enough. I think they were less there.
It was the smallest pitch we played on for a long time.
Yeah, I think it was less there in the second half. I think we had more opportunities in the second half than we did the first, particularly on the wings. Leddy and Denny did reasonably well on the wings, but we just weren't productive in.
Too many players had an off day as well, didn't we?
Yeah, too many players had off days. We had more often than not a player sort of goes to put a cross in and it actually goes into the box, whereas a lot of ours were just kind of spooned over the bar or sliced out and what have you. Those kind of things that make or break an attack. Really, we just
and a big difference would have been if Leighton Baines had made that conversion
of the penalty right before half time.
The keeper, did he?
He tried a panicker.
Yeah, that's
tried a panicker penalty, which is very rare that kind of thing comes off in the professional game, and I don't think it's something that.
We're back in the game then, though, aren't we?
We are, because it's
3-1 and it's doable then, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 3-1 at that point, isn't it? And then
But I just felt as though we'd sort of phased ourselves out of the game because that intensity, the energy levels weren't as they were against Pilton, so we were going to struggle to win that even at 3-1. I think.
I think we probably were at 3-1. I mean, we did have some opportunities in the second half. I think Dennis had a really good one. Leddy had a couple of.
I know, but he should have played it lower and he played it high. Goal.
That was Denny. Yeah, Denny. Yeah. But those are the kind of moments those are the kind of moments that win or lose you games at that point. But then also, would it have made a difference in the grand scheme of it? We lost 5-0, so that's more to say about our defences than anything else.
So listen, we move on to tomorrow night, which by the time anybody's listening to it is Friday night. So let's
tonight
or tomorrow night, whichever night you're listening to it. But tough game, Aston Athletic.
Oh, always a tough game is Aston Athletic. Real established Counties Division 1 North team, plenty of consistency in their ranks. So we're going to find that tough. They beat Skelmersdale Town, Chorley FC, on Tuesday night. It was either 2-0 or 3-0.
2-0, it could have been 5 or 6.
Yeah.
By all accounts.
Yeah, okay.
My man on the ground.
Your man on the ground, your mole.
My mole on the ground,
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That's encouraging to hear. So I think we've got to take that to Ashton. I think we've got to learn an awful lot between them.
We won't be splitting the squad up like we did last time. We'll be going with a 17-man squad. So
Barney is eking it out to the squad that he wants across the season.
Yeah, I think he's got to try it now. He's got to try what he thinks his strongest squad is now, and take it through for the next couple of games now. And if he's got to tweak it here and there, he'll tweak it as he goes along. But this experimentation period now it's got to the point now where we're 2 weeks away from the beginning of the season ourselves on Saturday.
Yeah.
So we need to be more organised. We're only going to get like a handful of training sessions back in now. So everything that we learn now, we're going to learn on the pitch as we go.
Yeah, I'm afraid so.
Are we still confident in the players that we've got?
Most of them, yeah.
Yeah, I think I think the thing I like about them most is that they've created a chemistry now, a camaraderie. We've got 13 players that we've retained from last season. I think that's good. We've got a nucleus of good players, and I think we've got to add to it. I think it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be really difficult. And Barney's got a difficult test, but I say to anyone, doesn't matter whether you. I don't know. Let's think of a manager, Jurgen Klopp or anyone. I think you'd struggle to get a complete tune out of Skem at this moment in time.
Right, so.
But I think we're in a better position than we were last season. I think we will shock a few teams as well.
Well, yeah, shocking a few teams is one of them, but I think we need to be far more consistent than what we are.
Yeah, but that might come throughout the season. You know, we might start off relative. You know, if we hit the ground running and we get a good couple of results in the first 5 games, build a bit of momentum, and then push after Christmas, that we might be. It might gel. That's what we're hoping, isn't it? But
yeah, of course.
Anyway, listen. I wanted to leave the show on a funny note because we did last week, didn't we? We had an absolute scream. So here are some of the funniest and most bizarre football stories from managers and players, proving the beautiful game often doubles as comedy. So Harry Redknapp and the disappearing player. After signing Chilean captain Javier Margas, is that the pronouncing?
Javier
Margas for West Ham. Harry Redknapp struggled to keep him in London. Homesick and exhausted, Margas vanished from training. When Redknapp and the club staff tracked him down to a local hotel, they found the window open and the room empty. He had literally jumped out of the window and packed his bags for Chile, never to return to the club.
Jesus wept. Lack of professionalism there. Just a bit.
Most definitely. So Mark Crossley sells slippers to Brian Clough. So before becoming a Nottingham Forest legend, a young Mark Crossley ran a side hustle selling knockoff slippers and tracksuits out of the club's dressing room.
Amazing.
When the legendary and famous strict manager Brian Clough caught wind of it, he called Crossley into his office. Terrified he was going to get sacked, Crossley was stunned when Clough simply said, "Right, let me see them, son," and ended up buying 2 pairs of slippers from his teenage goalkeeper. I like that one. So the infamous beach ball goal, we remember that one, during a 2009 Premier League match between Sunderland and Liverpool. Darren Bent scored the goal, which was the most bizarre one in league history. His shot deflected off a red beach ball thrown onto the pitch by a young Liverpool fan, completely fooling the keeper, Pepper Reina, and securing a 1-0 for Sunderland. The goal technically stood under the laws of the game at the time. I believe they've changed since.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Yeah. There's always one thing, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's always one episode.
So Roy Keane prefers dogs to hugs. Former Manchester United enforcer Roy Keane famously detailed his hatred for excessive matchday pleasantries. He once admitted on Stick to Football podcast that he refuses to shake hands with people he sees on a regular basis, preferring not to do a handshake and hugs with anyone other than close family members and his dogs. What's the funniest thing you've ever seen or heard in football, AJ?
God.
Have you never bought any knockoff slippers from a goalkeeper?
Not from young Mark Crossley now.
Not from Ben Barnes? Well, that'd be a story in itself, wouldn't it?
He'd have to report himself, wouldn't he?
Ben Barnes selling knockoff slippers and tracksuits?
Well, yeah, he'd probably be under investigation by his own department for that one, to be honest.
Yeah.
God.
Better than man, he works for the burglary department, doesn't he?
There you go.
Yeah.
The funniest thing I've ever seen or heard. What? You tell me yours.
I've told you a few of mine. I was at a game in the Clewedian Welsh Football League when we played. I can't remember who was playing against who, but there was a town called Cefn. and the pitches literally turned up in the corners. So you couldn't take a corner without somebody lying down and putting the finger on the ball. So on this particular occasion, the player was lying down, put his finger on the ball, and the player comes in to take the kick. He slips, and he knocks his foot or studs into the face of the man lying on the floor.
Jesus.
Yeah, so I took a photograph at the time. I sold it to, I think it was the Daily Star, it was one of the dailies, and there was 2 teeth coming out on my picture. I think when the picture was processed, there was 5 teeth, so somebody added 3 teeth to it.
My God.
I can't remember that. You know what? I've got it somewhere and just can't find the bloody picture. But when I start looking, when I've got time to look through me loft, I'll try and pick the picture up. But yeah, that was one of the funniest things that I've seen on a football pitch, because it was probably the only place in the country where it was legal to handle the ball. Otherwise, you couldn't take corners. But that was the same thing. I remember watching a lot of games. They doubled up as farm fields, so they used to have sheep or cow. And so the people used to turn up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, herd the sheep or cows off,
and then kick off.
And then they used to go around with buckets and spades to clear all the poo off, and then you used to play. And one of the worst ones was they played a cup game one night. So bearing in mind this is a summer league, they've got no floodlights whatsoever. It seems to get darker in the countryside, in the middle of the countryside.
Yeah.
So we're sitting there, and the game's gone to penalties.
Yeah.
And you can't see anything.
No.
So what happened was the 2 cars came onto the pitch, and they were. So they were either side of the goal, with the lights beaming across the pitch.
Yeah.
And the player was waiting for the referee to blow the whistle, so he could take his penalty. And anyway, he took his penalty and he skied it and sent it miles away. And he turned around and he said, and he really got angry, and he was effing and jeffing. And everybody, what's up with you? He said, I was turned around like that, waiting for the referee to whistle. He said, and the full beam was in my face. I couldn't see what I was doing. I couldn't see the ball when I went to kick it. So that was one of the funniest for me. Yeah.
I haven't had enough of a funny experience at non-league level. So I've only done it a couple of years. I've only really known non-league football for about 2 years now. Yeah. So it's not really a whole hell of a lot. I suppose one of the funny things that I have seen is going to Droylsden season before last, and hearing Droylsden fans behind the goal give an almighty amount of mouth to Ben Barnes, and him just turning around and kind of conducting it and just
conducting the orchestra.
Yeah, exactly, just completely riding along with it, and having absolutely no problems with it whatsoever. Yeah. And I just gotta laugh at a guy who can kind of keep his head when all of that is going on.
It's more intimate, and you can hear what's going on. Even there, you know, you've got a raucous crowd, but it's the bigger numbers, and it's got a really good atmosphere, and it's quite intimidating.
Yeah.
Well, going back to what I've mentioned probably numerous times before, is the streaker that runs onto the pitch, and the he slipped on the he's lying flat on his back, and the dog runs on the pitch and starts licking his balls. I know, yeah. That's probably one of the funniest ever.
So weird.
I know, yeah. But listen, as I say, funny little stories. And listen, if anybody's got any funny stories that they want to send into the show, by all means do, and we'll feature it on the next episode, Speaking Frankly Football Show. So listen, what we learned this week?
I think it sort of goes to the Real Aston Cubs, you know, the junior football tournament where, you know, they felt that there was an injustice and that they were sort of being cheated out of victory. Honestly, it's not the World Cup final. Yeah, it means something to the kids, but honestly, they would have taken more out of losing that game and being allowed to collect runners-up medals, and feeling a sense of accomplishment and achievement in that than being pulled away from it all. And I understand that they've got to learn that cheats don't prosper, but I just don't think that that's the way to do it.
So what have I learned? Steer clear of traffic on busy roads and junctions. And I'm not going to say whether it's male or female. We all know it was a woman that crashed into it. But enough of the sexist, misogynistic jokes about female drivers. Listen, it could have happened to anyone. The woman's not deliberately ran into me. I know that for a fact. But yeah, I said to Rowena last night, I said the most annoying and worrying part of this is I'm driving really carefully. But that was all taken out of my hands. You just don't know the minute when you're going to get yourself into bother.
Yeah, of course.
And the same thing on a football pitch. You just mentioned it there about the Real Aston Cubs.
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes if you react to things really, really quickly in the heat of the moment. And I didn't. You know, fortunately, when I got smashed into yesterday, I was very calm. I was just puzzled, and I was just puzzled more than anything. I couldn't even get angry. I'm not even angry now. I'm just I'm in a different world altogether, thinking to myself how easily it could be taken away from you.
I mean, I've heard the video footage. I know that you were irritated for a couple of minutes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. But when I actually spoke to the lady, I didn't show any anger whatsoever. Just like people to know that. But listen, anyway, that's what I've learned this week, and it sort of dovetails well with people making mistakes of football as well. Just think before you get yourself angry, and just think of the bigger picture. Life is more important than football. But listen, we'll leave the final words to the dulcet tones of AJ Vegette.
You've been listening to the Speaking Frankly Football Show with me, AJ Vegette, and my co-host, Mr. Frank Hughes. This podcast is available on streaming services wherever you get your podcasts, including Spotify and Amazon Music. Please rate and review, as we do thrive off hearing your feedback. Please also subscribe so that you can find out firsthand when a new episode of the show has been released. We're also available on social media sites, most prevalently Facebook and X, under the banner term Speaking Frankly Football Show, so please drop us a follow there. And so from myself and Frank, thank you very much for tuning in to tonight's episode of the show, and we'll see you next week for more of the same. Until then, very goodbye for now.